Chapter 4294. This nickname isn't small at all. He's actually targeting the geniuses. He's a little narrow-minded. This was the first thought that came to Lin Fei's mind. In fact, Lin Fei didn't see many people like him. However, he didn't expect to meet one here. After Jin Yuanqing said this, he could clearly sense that the celestial Eye Monarch's gaze had changed. Obviously, he had heard Jin Yuanqing's words. After all, Jin Yuanqing was one of the elders of Sky, Sword Mountain. His words had some credibility. Elder Jin, could it be that you've suffered in the hands of this kid? If that's true, then you've lived all these years in vain. Heaven, Eye Monarch laughed out loud. His gaze instantly fell on Lin Fei and started sizing him up. There doesn't seem to be much of a difference. Suddenly, Celestial Eye King stepped forward and punched. A huge phantom appeared and attacked Celestial Eye King's head. Since Elder Jin said that you're a genius, then take a punch for me first. Otherwise, you can only say that you're unlucky. Sky Demon Sect, Technique Sect, and other forces took a deep breath. This was indeed Heaven Eye Monarch. He never considered the consequences of his actions, especially when it came to dealing with geniuses. He was very stubborn. As long as he met a genius, he would take a punch first. If he couldn't take it, then he wasn't a genius. If he could, then he was qualified to be a genius. Of course, these geniuses didn't have good days. Those geniuses in Kunlun's secret realm had to be careful when they went out. If they met Heaven Eye Monarch, they could only say that they were unlucky. If they had a backer, they might be able to keep their lives. Otherwise, they would only be left with a corpse. Hence, the people behind him called Heaven Eye Monarch an old pervert. Only such a person would dare to make a move on a genius. However, this kind of guy was living a good life, and he had a supreme being behind him. Anyone who wanted to deal with Heaven Eye Monarch would have to consider the supreme backing him. Heaven Eye Monarch, who was just a step away from becoming a supreme, might break through at any time. No one would force the Heavenly Eye King into a desperate situation. Once he was defeated, the consequences would be unimaginable. The Celestial Eye King was also tactful. As long as he was fighting against the geniuses, they basically didn't have any powerful background. Naturally, he wouldn't fight against those who were famous. At most, he would spar with them. As for the rest, he wouldn't be so lucky. If he couldn't block them, he would die. Even if he blocked them, he would still die. Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan's hearts were in their throats. They didn't expect the Heavenly Eye King to make a move just like that. A moment ago, they couldn't see his movements, but in the next moment, he directly attacked. He was indeed the legendary Heavenly Eye King, who hid a knife behind his smile. It's up to you to decide whether I'm a Heaven's chosen one or not. You old thing, you've lived for too long. Lin Fei laughed loudly. His sword emerged and instantly turned into a sword formation. Are you sure that I'm a genius or not? Break my sword formation first. Otherwise, stop blabbering over there. As soon as the sword formation appeared in front of Lin Fei, it blocked the power of the Heavenly Eye King's punch. All the power bombarded the sword formation. The sword formation didn't change at all. Even Lin Fei didn't move at all. Jin Yuanqing's expression changed slightly. He stared at Lin Fei and said, "This guy can also use a sword formation. This sword formation seems to be of a higher level than our Sky Sword Mountains. How is this possible? It seems like it won't be easy for the Heavenly Eye King to break it." The power of the Heavenly Eye King's punch wasn't that easy to resist. When everyone felt that Lin Fei couldn't resist it, the sword formation blocked it just like that. The Heavenly Eye King was also slightly surprised. He looked at Jin Yuanqing. This glance made Jin Yuanqing's hair stand on end. He didn't want to be misunderstood by the Heavenly Eye King. Hence, he quickly explained, "Senior, this person isn't from our Sky Sword Mountain. We don't know where he learned this sword formation. However, it has nothing to do with our Sky Sword Mountain. Senior, please do whatever you want." The Heavenly Eye King was still afraid of the Sky Sword Mountain. After all, the Sky Sword Mountain had a supreme expert. He was also a sword cultivator. His strength was unfathomable. He had to understand this matter first. After listening to the explanation, the Heavenly Eye King felt relieved. He also understood why Jin Yuanqing couldn't handle the other party. This kid's sword formation was somewhat unusual. The power of the punch didn't penetrate the sword formation. Immediately, he knew that this person was qualified to be a genius. It's just a tortoiseshell. Watch how I break it. The Heavenly Eye King laughed and rushed forward. Fist shadows appeared from all directions. The entire hall instantly turned into a hellish place. The punches landed on the sword formation. At this moment, no one knew how many punches the Heavenly Eye King had thrown. No one knew what the Heavenly Eye King had used. Everyone broke out in a cold sweat under such a powerful killing move. Even if the young man had a sword formation that was known as a tortoiseshell, he probably wouldn't be able to block the fist technique. The solid voice seemed to fall on the bottom of everyone's heart. They felt goosebumps all over their bodies. Everyone knew that the Heavenly Eye King's strength was unfathomable. However, only a few people had seen the Heavenly Eye King in action. Now, their horizons had been broadened. The existence of such an abnormal old man was simply a nightmare for the geniuses. Whoever encountered him would die. At the same time, everyone was also afraid of Jin Yuanqing of the Sky Sword Mountain. This guy had made the Heavenly Eye King attack with just a few words. The young man was really unlucky to encounter such a situation. The situation didn't seem right. Under such a fist technique, it seemed like there was no possibility of survival. However, some people with sharp eyes saw some clues. The sword formation didn't seem to be broken. It seemed like the sword formation was on the verge of collapse. However, under the fist technique, the sword formation was able to withstand it. At this moment, everyone couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. This kid seemed to have a strong background. Could it be that he came from a top-notch sect to gain experience? If that was the case, the Heavenly Eye King would be in trouble. The revenge of a top-notch sect was very terrifying. Even if the Heavenly Eye King suffered a small loss, it would still make him lose face. The fist technique is powerful. However, the essence of the fist technique isn't there yet. No wonder you are stuck in this realm. Lin Fei laughed. You want to break my tortoise shell with this fist technique? I can only say that you are thinking too much. Go back and practice for another 100 years. The Heavenly Eye King's figure appeared. No wonder you're so calm. It turns out that this sword formation of yours is not simple at all. I'm getting more and more interested in you. Tell me your master's name. Maybe I'll recognize him and spare your life. The Heavenly Eye King didn't intend to fight anymore. At the very least, this kid had a strong background. He was afraid that he would fight the wrong person. It would be troublesome if he provoked the person behind this kid. One shouldn't think that the Heavenly Eye King wasn't smart. In fact, he was smarter than anyone else. Because of his intelligence, he was able to survive until now. Moreover, he had the support of a supreme. Abnormal old man. When will there be a time when you are afraid? You don't intend to continue fighting. If you don't do it, it will just be a tortoiseshell. With your strength, can't you break it? Suddenly, another figure rushed in. It stopped not far away. Chapter 4295. The moment the voice appeared, Heaven Eye King's expression changed. He looked over and said, It's you, be asterisk starred. You're always so direct. I'm going to kill you one day. When the others saw this figure, they all took a deep breath. Another one of the four kings, the Poison King, had come. Heaven Eye King loved to bully geniuses. Then the Poison King was someone who was neither good nor evil. He could be a good guy or a bad guy. It all depended on luck. The Poison King's methods were very powerful. His poison skills were earth-shattering. No one knew when he had poisoned someone. Maybe when he was talking, or maybe when he had just arrived. Either way, you would be poisoned. Therefore, most people didn't like to stand with the Poison King. They would stay as far away from him as possible. Everyone took a step back when they saw the Poison King. They couldn't afford to offend him. Then just do it. I will stand here and let you kill me. I don't care even if you kill me 100 times. Don't be a coward. I hate cowards the most. I think you, Celestial Eye Monarch, are suitable to be a coward. The King of Poisons laughed and said mercilessly, Heaven Eye King didn't dare to do anything. He had suffered a lot in the hands of the Poison King. He was still afraid. The Poison King was the most troublesome one among the 4 kings. He was rarely seen and spent his time studying poison. He was very good at it. Who knew what kind of trump card he had? It was said that even the Supremes had to respect the Poison King. One could imagine how influential the Poison King was. It was obvious that once the Poison King broke through to a higher level, even the Supremes would have to be careful. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm here for the Divine Dragon secret territory. I don't have time to waste here. Heaven Eye King humphed coldly. He didn't want to fight the Poison King. The Poison King turned his head to look at Lin Fei. Kid, you're not bad. Who is your master? For him to be able to teach you such strength, he might even be someone from Heavenly Sword Mountain. The Poison King had been here for a while. Therefore, he knew what was going on. That was why he jumped out to embarrass Heaven Eye King. As one of the 4 kings, he couldn't even take care of a Heaven's chosen one. It was indeed embarrassing. The Poison King loved to mock the Heaven Eye King. I don't have a master, so I have to learn everything by myself. Plus, no matter how powerful Heavenly Sword Mountain's sword formation is, could it be stronger than my sword formation? Senior, your eyesight is a bit lacking. Lin Fei laughed. Everyone on the scene admired Lin Fei's courage. He actually dared to talk to the King of Poisons like that. Wasn't he afraid of being poisoned by the King of Poisons? I also know that you, the Poison King, have just placed 3 types of poisons here. None of them are effective, but when mixed together, they can create a powerful effect. Am I right? Everyone sucked in a cold breath. The first thing he did was to check it out. There was nothing he could do. The Poison King's poison was very potent. If he were to fall for it, there would be nothing he could say. No matter how hard they checked, they couldn't find anything wrong with him. He seemed fine. However, Lin Fei's strength told them that he might be telling the truth. The Poison King laughed and said, You're really interesting. You can even see through this. Do you think I should kill you? It would be a pity if I don't kill you. I think it's better to capture you and make you my disciple. People like you are really suitable to be my disciple. Nobody can see through this, not even the Celestial Eye King. But if you can see through it, then it's different. The Poison King was very surprised. Although the kid didn't say what the 3 poisons were, the Poison King knew that the kid knew what the 3 poisons were. The fact that he dared to say something like that meant he was very confident in his own strength. No wonder he dared to offend the Heaven Eye King. Now he dared to talk to the Poison King like that. I haven't seen a kid like you in a long time. Don't worry. I won't kill you. When the Divine Dragon's secret territory is over, I will take you out. The Poison King was getting more and more interested in the kid. Take me out? Forget it. I am not interested in being your disciple. Lin Fei shook his head. I can see that you are talented. If you are willing to be my disciple, I can teach you some real skills. It won't be as shallow as it is now. I am just talking to you. My poison skills are unparalleled. Do you really think that your poison skills are better than mine? The Poison King thought that the kid was interesting. It had been a long time since someone dared to talk to him like that. In the past, he would have killed the kid with his poison skills. He wouldn't have listened to the kid talk nonsense. Yes, I gave you a chance. You just didn't cherish it. Don't blame me. Ordinary people don't have the right to do that. Lin Fei shook his head. Poison King, I think you should just kill this kid. Listen to what he said. Even I want to kill him now, Heaven Eye Monarch said casually. The Poison King looked at Heaven Eye King and said, That is why I am different from you. You want to kill all the geniuses you see, but I only want to torture them to death. That is more interesting. Struggle in pain and regret in pain. That is the highest level. Heaven Eye King, don't fall into my hands. Maybe one day I will make you suffer. I will make you wish you were dead. The conversation between the two masters shocked everyone. They were talking about killing each other. They were the only ones who were qualified to say that. As you wish. But let's talk about it after we get out of the divine dragon's secret territory. Heaven Eye King waved his hand and the dragon key flew out. As soon as the key flew out, it was sucked into the dragon statue. A part of the dragon statue lit up. If you have the divine dragon key, take it out. Don't blame me, Celestial Eye Monarch, for finding the divine dragon key myself. Celestial Eye Monarch's cold eyes swept across the crowd. Without saying a word, everyone took out their divine dragon keys. The stone dragon statue began to glow. A part of it was shining here and there. The dragon was about to fully shine. Everyone wanted to see it. Once the dragon started to shine, it would be like it was alive. Maybe the entrance to the divine dragon secret territory would open. Everyone was looking forward to it. Soon, everyone noticed that there were still 2 missing pieces of the divine dragon key. This was because there were still 2 missing parts of the dragon's body that had not been fully activated. Everyone looked at each other. They were all anxious. Where did the last 2 divine dragon keys go? Heaven Eye King and the Poison King started to look around. There had to be 10 keys to open the divine dragon secret territory. And this time, the appearance of the sinkhole meant that all 10 keys had been born. Chapter 4296. The last 2 divine dragon keys did not appear. Everyone's hearts tightened. They couldn't possibly say that they had made a wasted trip, right? It wasn't easy for them to make it here. Yet, they were told that there were no divine dragon keys. Wouldn't that make everyone speechless? Everyone wanted to enter the divine dragon mysterious land. It was a legendary place. Even if they couldn't eat the meat, they could at least drink some soup. Only Yi Zishuan knew that the last 2 keys were in Lin Fei's hands. However, she didn't understand why Lin Fei didn't take out the divine dragon keys. Was he not going to enter the divine dragon mysterious land? Yi Zishuan didn't dare to ask or say anything. She could only watch quietly. Since the other 2 kings are here, there's no need to hide anymore. You can't possibly say that you 2 are planning to sneak up behind and be the fishermen, right? That's very embarrassing, Lin Fei said. Heaven Eye King and Poison King's expressions changed. They didn't sense anyone lurking around them. If they were to secretly succeed, wouldn't they be able to plot against them at the critical moment? Then wouldn't the things that they had worked so hard to obtain become the spoils of war in the hands of others? Come out. How dare you continue hiding in front of me, Poison King? Poison King suddenly snorted. He waved his hand and the 5-colored powder flew out, instantly merging into the air. Whoosh! 2 figures appeared in an inconspicuous place in front of them. Ripples were already swaying around these 2 figures, producing hissing sounds. The 2 figures appeared. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air again. All 4 kings were here. It was fine if Heaven Eye King and Poison King were here, but now that the other 2 kings were here, things were getting interesting. One of the remaining 2 was called 3 Stones Divine King, and the other was Demon King Tianju. These 4 kings were the strongest below the 6 supremes. Now that all 4 kings had arrived, the situation was clearly a little different. Poison King, your poison technique is getting more and more powerful. I didn't expect you to successfully cultivate the 5-color powder. No wonder you could see through us. Demon King Tianju, who was dressed in black, chuckled. Then he turned to look at Lin Fei. He raised his hand and a black light shot out. I don't know what method you use to see through our existence, but people like you must die. As soon as the black light appeared, everyone heard a ghostly wail and their faces turned pale. Everyone realized that this was the famous demon blade of the heavens and Demon King. It was said to be infused with the 7 emotions and 6 desires. When the blade struck out, the wails of ghosts and howls of wolves could be heard. It could affect people's emotions, and they fell for it unknowingly. Before the black light could even get close to Lin Fei, it was torn into pieces by a wave of sword intent. The ghostly wails and wolf howls immediately stopped. I exposed you, yet you still have the nerve to attack me? Your skin is truly thick, Lin Fei said with a chuckle. Unfortunately, your technique isn't that good. It can't even move my mind. It can only scare normal people. Tianmu King saw that Demon King Tianju was defeated and he was delighted. At least he had met one. As for him, he was the only one who was embarrassed. Brother Tianju, you can't be soft on such matters. You have to deal with him first. I will cheer you on from behind. Don't let this kid step on your head. Tianmu King said intentionally, if you let the celestial I monarch deal with Lin Fei, he definitely wouldn't think of doing so. That fellow's sword formation is ridiculously strong. Demon King Tian Ju's blade technique was the most overbearing and ferocious. Since the blade and sword were enemies, it was best for him to attack. Since one blade failed, Demon King slashed out 3 more times. The 3 blades turned into streaks of light and wailed like ghosts and wolves. Their strength increased by a lot. No matter what, he had to kill this kid first. To be able to see through them, his eyesight wasn't simple. It was best to kill such a person as soon as possible. After the 3 blades, they were blocked by Lin Fei's sword formation. Don't stop, continue. If you can, then kill me on the spot. Otherwise, just stand still. Lin Fei wasn't very interested in the 4 kings. Although they were strong and had the strength of a Qi refinement realm expert, they were still far from what he had imagined. Now, Lin Fei had the Tree of Life to continuously heal his body. His injuries were also recovering bit by bit. Every time he recovered, his strength improved. In comparison, his strength was like a rocket. Even if Lin Fei did not make a move, Guan Yu's sword array would be able to easily block the combined attacks of the 4 kings. Brother Tianju, I think this kid's sword formation isn't ordinary. Let's not waste time on it. Let's go into the Divine Dragon secret realm first. 3 stones, God King said. His voice was deep and heavy. There was a loud buzzing sound. Demon King Tianju really didn't attack again. With those 3 blades, he had tested his opponent's strength. He was actually another Qi refinement realm expert. No wonder Heaven Eye King was at a disadvantage. Kid, your strength is not bad. To be able to block 3 of my blades, you can be considered an expert. Seeing that it's not easy for you to cultivate, I will let you go for now. There won't be such a good chance next time. Demon King Tianju found a way out of this embarrassing situation. If it wasn't for the sword formation's shocking defense, Demon King Tianju would have killed this guy long ago. He wouldn't have to find a way out of this embarrassing situation. No matter what, Demon King Tianju remembered this person. In the Divine Dragon secret realm, don't give him a chance to find a way out of this embarrassing situation. I feel that you will definitely come and beg me later. Although you are one of the 4 kings below the Supremes, I really don't care. Bullying others just because you are strong is something that I really don't approve of. If you apologize to me now, you might feel better later on. Otherwise, Lin Fei chuckled. Lin Fei said with a chuckle. When the Demon King of Heavens and stopped attacking, everyone realized that this young man should be a Qi cultivating expert who had broken through the Xiantian realm. They should have guessed it from the beginning. To be able to block Heaven Eye King's attack so easily wasn't something a Xiantian realm expert could do. They actually did not receive any news about such a young Qi cultivating realm expert. In the Kunlun mystic realm, there was going to be another expert. In the Kunlun mystic realm, only a Qi refinement realm expert could be considered a true top-notch expert. Those below Qi condensation were all ants. Jin Yuancheng of Heavenly Sword Mountain sucked in a breath of cold air. With the scene in front of them, the opponent was definitely a Qi disciple expert. To be able to withstand Heaven and Demon King's attack, his strength was unfathomable. Chapter 4297. Heaven and Demon King felt that this was the funniest thing he had ever heard. Beg the other party? He was thinking too much. He was one of the 4 kings below the Supreme Being. When would he beg others? The other 3 stones Divine King did not believe this kid's words either. It was just that the sword array in his hands was more powerful. If they were to make a move, the other party would not be able to hold on at all. It was just that it was not the right time to make a move. There were so many people present. Once the news spread, they would more or less bear the hat of bullying the weak. Although they would not care much, they would more or less feel uncomfortable. They weren't like the celestial monarch who would want to fight the moment he saw a powerful genius. If he couldn't block the first punch, he would die. If he could block the second punch, he would also die. They weren't shameless enough to do that. Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan were also worried for Lin Fei. He was one of the 4 kings below the Supreme Being level. There were not many people who spoke like that. Don't worry, they will definitely come and beg me. You should know. Lin Fei turned around and smiled. Yi Zixuan obviously knew what Lin Fei meant. After all, both keys were in his hands. If they wanted to enter the Divine Dragon's secret realm, they would really have to beg Lin Fei. Perhaps everyone did not agree with him before, but after fighting against Heaven and Demon King, everyone did not think so anymore. He was definitely a ruthless person. The one who fought would know. The one who fought would regret it. Jin Yuanqing from the Sky Sword Mountain was probably regretting his actions. He had offended such a potential expert. Moreover, this expert was a sword cultivator. His sword array was not any weaker than his sword array. Heaven and Demon King and the other 3 kings did not make any more moves. Their eyes fell on the giant dragon. However, there were still a few parts of the dragon that had not been activated. I still have a Divine Dragon Key. 3 stones Divine King threw out a key. An area had been activated. Heavens and Demon King also threw out a key and activated an area. This time, the entire dragon was almost completely activated. Everyone quickly realized that there seemed to be a missing part of the dragon that had not been activated. No, it was 2 parts. In other words, 8 Divine Dragon Keys had appeared. The remaining 2 Divine Dragon Keys were gone. Everyone had made a wasted trip. Everyone looked at each other, hoping to see the remaining 2 Dragon God Keys. Who has the key? Stop hiding it and take it out to open the Divine Dragon Mystery Land. Demon King Tianjue snorted coldly and glared at them. I don't have the Divine Dragon Key with me. Not here either. Everyone shook their heads. Heavens and Demon King said coldly, only with 10 keys here can this gigantic dragon be activated. If not, just the remaining 8 keys won't be able to activate it. That also means that there are still 2 keys here. Do you insist on hiding them? Don't blame this king for taking action. Heavens and Demon King was furious. There was actually someone playing tricks here. Heaven, I monarch chuckled. Brother Tianju's words are my words. Now that you've hidden the Divine Dragon Key, don't blame me for being rude. The 4 kings all expressed their opinions. The people present still did not move. The 2 parts of the giant dragon were still not activated. In other words, they were only 1 step away from the Divine Dragon Arcane Realm. That was the worst thing that could happen to them. I think everyone should stop looking. The last 2 keys are with me. However, I don't want to hand them over now. What do you think we should do? Just as everyone was wondering if they had hidden the Divine Dragon Key from each other, they suddenly heard Lin Fei's voice. Everyone subconsciously turned to look at him. Seeing that it was Lin Fei who said it, everyone stopped talking. He was a ruthless person. Even Heaven's and Demon King could not take him down, let alone the rest of them. They could only watch the show. More importantly, this guy had actually hidden 2 divine dragon keys. This was truly inconceivable. It took a lot of effort to get 1 divine dragon key, but this brat actually had 2 divine dragon keys. No wonder he was so calm. Heaven's and Demon King and the rest looked over. They felt that they had seen wrongly. This guy actually had 2 divine dragon keys. Since the divine dragon key is with you, take it out. Don't let us waste time here. Heaven I King chuckled. The divine dragon key might be nothing in the hands of others, but if it was with this guy, it would be interesting. Brat, you really are brave. You actually hid 2 divine dragon keys. The Poison King laughed. He felt that he had misjudged Lin Fan. He dared to say such a thing to the 4 of them. He was really brave. Lin Fei said, "Yes, I am. Because I am strong enough. I have 2 divine dragon keys. However, I am very unhappy with Heaven's and Demon King and Heaven I King. How should I say this? I am happy that you want to enter the divine dragon arcane realm. Otherwise, don't even think about entering the divine dragon arcane realm." Heaven's and Demon King and Heaven I King were shocked. They felt that this guy was too lawless. Just because he had withstood their attacks, he thought that he had the strength to fight with them. The 4 kings' reputation was not just for show. They had fought for it with their strength. Who knew how many people had died in their hands? No one had ever dared to say such a thing to them. You said that I would take the initiative to beg you. It seems that you are wrong. You didn't just offend me, but the 4 of us. Heaven's and Demon King revealed his white teeth. There was an endless cold light. Lin Fei said calmly, "You can try and see if the 4 kings will attack together. I don't think they will join forces with you. My sword formation is not as simple as you think it is." Whoosh! The huge sword formation instantly turned into a stream of light. The stream of light turned from big to small. In the end, only a black dot was left. When the black dot appeared, the Heaven I Monarch, the Poison Monarch, and even the 3 stones Divine Monarch's expressions changed. For example, the 4 kings' expressions changed. They felt the aura of death from the sword. Even Jinyuan City, who was not far away, squinted his eyes. His pupils shrank as he felt a terrifying chill. Who is that guy? Why does he have the Sky Sword Mountain's secret technique? Moreover, the power of this secret technique is not inferior to the Supreme Master's. Is he infinitely close to the Supreme Master Realm? Jinyuan City's breathing quickened. How do you feel about my sword? Why don't I start with you? You can look at Heaven's and Demon King. When Heaven's and Demon King was looked at, he revealed a hollow smile. Brother, wait. Let's talk. Chapter 4298. Lin Fei's sword wasn't an ordinary sword. If these great qi cultivating experts could not even see this point, then it would be too big of a failure. Inborn experts could at most see that this sword was extraordinary, but it was hard to say how powerful it was. However, it was definitely not something they could block easily. Lin Fei chuckled. Who was the one who said it was impossible? Say it again. In any case, the 2 divine dragon keys are in my hands. Without them, none of you can enter. Of course, I don't mind if you use force, as long as you have the ability. Heaven's and Demon King's face grew ugly. Even the others looked the same. After all, they had wanted to fight just now. Misunderstanding. This must be a misunderstanding. I think the Divine Dragon Mystery Land is right in front of us. If you have any thoughts, you can say it. We can discuss it together. We all have the same goal. Who didn't want to enter the Divine Dragon Mystery Land? The Poison King said as a good guy. No one would be happy to encounter such a situation. However, this brat was not someone they could take down for the time being. They could feel how terrifying the sword was. It was definitely the power of the pinnacle of Qi refinement realm. No one dared to take it head-on. Moreover, no one could guarantee that they wouldn't be killed by the killer move when fighting such a person. It was simply impossible for everyone to work together as one. They might be the four kings, the strongest existence below the supremes, but in reality, they were scheming against each other. However, in reality, they were all scheming against each other. Both of them wanted to become the seventh supreme being, wishing for one of them to die. Brother Heaven's End, what you said just now was a bit too much. See what this little brother wants. You have to satisfy him. Don't you agree? 3 stones, God King said. The change in this scene was really too fast, and it was hard for people to accept it all at once. Heaven's End Demon King wanted to cry. He wasn't the first to find trouble with this kid. Heaven Eye King was the first to attack. There was also Sky, Sword Mountain's elder Jin Yuanqing. He was also the first to attack. He couldn't just let himself be the scapegoat for everything, right? He was one of the 4 kings, not an ordinary person. If it was in the past, Heaven's End Demon King would have attacked long ago. He wouldn't have thought so much. Right now, there was no other way. He had met a tough opponent. In that instant, the Demon King of Heaven's End turned to look at Jinyuan City, and his eyes turned cold. No matter what, someone had to be the scapegoat first. Heavenly Sword Mountain's Gold Origin City was undoubtedly the most suitable target. Let's beat them half to death first. Brother, I saw that Elder Jin Yuanqing from Heavenly Sword Mountain was disrespectful to you earlier. I feel that someone like him should apologize to you. Don't think that Heavenly Sword Mountain is very powerful. In my eyes, they are nothing much. Jin Yuanqing felt that he had been shot while lying down. What was this? Just as he was about to explain, he saw Demon King Tianjue raise his hand and slash at him. Senior Tianju, if you have something to say, we can talk it out. Don't fight. Jin Yuanqing's hair stood on end, and his sword array flew up immediately. One of the 4 kings, Heaven and Demon King, actually made a move. Although one of them used a saber and the other used a sword, the distance between the two was too great. It was not something that Jinyuan City could resist. After 5 slashes, Jin Yuanqing was sent flying with 1 slash. His body was covered with saber wounds. He was like a work of art that could break at any moment. Hurry up and kowtow to this brother and apologize. Don't think that Sky Sword Mountain is powerful that you can do whatever you want. In my eyes, you are just scum. You should know that not everyone can bully us. When the forces in the distance saw Jin Yuanqing of Sky Sword Mountain being chopped up like a dead dog, they secretly sucked in a breath of air. Fortunately, they hadn't gone to cause trouble for that person in the beginning. Otherwise, they would be the ones in trouble. Jin Yuanqing was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. However, he didn't dare to get angry. Demon King Tianjue wasn't someone who was easy to deal with. Although Sky Sword Mountain also had a supreme, these kings also had powerful backgrounds. He could only swallow his anger. Brother, please spare my life. Little brother, please spare me. I was wrong earlier. I should not have asked you for the item from Heavenly Sword Mountain. In the future, Heavenly Sword Mountain will never ask for it again. Just consider this item as a gift for you, little brother. Jin Yuanqing suppressed the helplessness in his heart and begged Yilin Fei for mercy. If he didn't speak honestly at this time, he might suffer even more. Although Heaven's End Demon King wouldn't kill him, if he was injured in this place and was killed by someone, he would really want to cry, but no tears would come out. Sky Sword Mountain was really powerful. However, Demon King Tianjue wasn't simple either. As long as he didn't kill Jin Yuanqing, just injuring him wouldn't be a big deal. Demon King Tianjue knew how to control himself. Brother, take a look. Did I do it well? Demon King Tianjue laughed and threw a bottle of elixirs over. I see that the friend behind you is injured. I didn't bring anyone else with me, but I have a bottle of top-grade elixirs. Since I don't need it, I'll give it to your friend." Without saying a word, the bottle of elixirs flew over and landed in Yi Zishuan's hands. Yi Zishuan took a look at the elixirs and took in a breath of cold air. This was the top-grade healing elixir in Kunlun's secret realm, the Heavenly Yuan Pill. One pill could help one recover from injuries, and there were a total of 5 in the bottle. It was priceless. This gift was really too valuable. He's one of the 4 kings and has a lot of money. It's just a bottle of healing elixirs. You don't have to think so much. Just accept it, Lin Fei said with a smile. Poison King, I heard that the Divine Dragon's secret realm is quite dangerous. You should have quite a lot of poisonous items with you. It shouldn't be a problem to give a few to me as a friend, right? Lin Fei looked at the Poison King. No problem, it's a small matter. Coincidentally, I have some small things with me that are suitable for your friend. The Poison King took out his things and handed them over. Seeing this, Yi Zishuan knew what Lin Fei wanted to do. She was very grateful in her heart. This was something that belonged to the 4 kings. Even if it was just a small thing, if it was placed outside, it would make people's eyes go red. Since 2 of the kings had taken the initiative to take out their things, the remaining 2 kings didn't dare to think of anything else. They quickly took out more things to satisfy Lin Fei. Otherwise, they could forget about entering the Divine Dragon's secret realm. As for the rest, they could talk about it in the future. Lin Fei's thoughts were simple. If he didn't take out something from them, how could he open the Divine Dragon's secret realm so easily? It seemed like the 4 kings were quite smart. Yi Zishuan's mood was obvious. The things that they took out were not bad. Of course, that was only for Yi Zishuan. Remember the website. Chapter 40, 299. After the 4 kings couldn't take down Lin Fei, they had no choice but to use another method. They could tell that Yi Zishuan was just an ordinary innate. There were a bunch of such experts in the Kunlun mystery realm. However, no matter what, this person was following beside Lin Fei, so they definitely knew him. Hence, they decided to start with Yi Zishuan. Wasn't it just giving some gifts? So what? As long as they could open the Divine Dragon mystery realm, anything was fine. They just had to play around a little, and they would definitely find a bunch of good stuff. Compared to the things he had given out, this little bit of effort was nothing. They all thought it through, so Yi Zishuan obtained a lot of things in a short while. The people from the major forces were all envious, wishing that they could replace Yi Zishuan and take all these things. It was simply too tempting. With these things, be it in terms of survival or increasing one's strength, it would be of great help. Where else could they find such a good thing? Yi Zishuan finally accepted the reality in front of her with much difficulty. She kept them with a peace of mind. She was even more grateful to Lin Fei. The more things she kept, the more the 4 kings' hearts sank. Good lad, why aren't you asking? I can't possibly take out all of my assets. However, they didn't dare to say such words. Who asked them to underestimate Lin Fei from the start, which resulted in such a mess? Luckily, Lin Fei finally opened his mouth. After Yi Zishuan took out a bunch of things. I can see your intentions. Isn't it just opening the Divine Dragon Mystery Realm? That's simple. However, before I open it, I need you to agree to a request of mine. Otherwise, I won't even bother to open this Divine Dragon Mystery Realm. The 4 kings had originally heaved a sigh of relief, but when they suddenly heard this, they almost spat out a mouthful of blood. Wasn't he messing with them? I wonder what request Brother Lin has. As long as it's not too difficult. I, the Poison King, will definitely agree to it. The Poison King was the first to speak. Since he hadn't really fought with Lin Fei before, he naturally wouldn't offend him. Since it wasn't a difficult request, he naturally agreed to it. After the Poison King spoke, the remaining 3 kings didn't dare to say anything else. Didn't they see that the Poison King had already spoken? Actually, my request is very simple. After we enter the Divine Dragon's secret zone, no matter when we come out, the 4 of you owe me a treasure. This treasure must be a Qi cultivating stage magic item at the very least. Only then will I activate the Divine Dragon's secret zone. Magic tools were naturally not something that ordinary weapons could compare to. They possessed heaven-defying might. Even if there were 4 of them, they only had 1 magic tool in their hand so far. If they really obtained one in the Divine Dragon Mystery Land, they would have to hand it over. That would be difficult for them to accept. On second thought, the Divine Dragon Arcane Realm was the origin of Huaxia. There must be many artifacts in it. If they went in, they would be able to get 2 or 3 of them. It wouldn't be difficult for them to hand over one. In any case, Lin Fei did not ask for the grade of the artifact. When the time came, he would just give them the worst one. They did not breach the contract. If you don't have any objections, then write an IOU here, lest you act shamelessly and refuse to hand over the Dharma artifact. Lin Fei's words stunned them once again. After all, they were one of the 4 kings below the honorable martial artist. Since when did they have to write an IOU? However, when these words came from Lin Fei's mouth, the situation was completely different. They could tell that if they did not write the IOU, Lin Fei would definitely not activate the Divine Dragon's secret zone. After all, he had 2 Divine Dragon keys. They were the 4 strongest people below the honorable martial artist. They did not expect to suffer losses at the hands of a brat. It seemed like they could not vent their anger. There was nothing more inferior than this. It's just a small matter. Isn't it just owing money? I'll write it first. The Poison King was the first to write an IOU. After the Poison King wrote the first one, the second one followed. The second one was the Heaven and Demon King, followed by the 3 Stones Divine King, and finally the Heaven Eye King. They had no choice but to write an IOU. Everyone looked at each other. They did not expect such a thing to happen. Was this brat not afraid of being chased by the 4 kings once they left this place? Not only would he be chased by the 4 kings, but he also seemed to have offended the Sky Sword Mountain, which had an honorable martial artist. Everyone could not help but break out in cold sweat for Lin Fei. They had seen arrogant people, but they had never seen someone as arrogant as him. Lin Fei received 4 IOUs as he wished. All of them were imprinted by the 4 kings. They were the real deal. You are straightforward people. I, Lin Fei, am straightforward too. Isn't it just the Divine Dragon's secret zone? I'll activate it for you now. Lin Fei smiled and threw the 2 Divine Dragon keys in his hand. Now he had finally activated the 2 missing parts. When they were completely activated, the stone dragon flew up and circled around. At the same time, it released a wave of dragon's might. The dragon's might reached deep into everyone's heart. The first roar was very shocking. Following the second and third roars, the giant dragon roared 13 times in a row. Everyone could feel the terrifying majesty of each wave of dragon's might. The Divine Dragon's secret zone seems to be activated. Someone exclaimed. It turned out that in the middle of the hall, a door had appeared out of nowhere. The 13 waves of dragon's might instantly turned into 13 streams of light and pushed the door open. Everyone was greatly surprised by this scene. They did not expect the layout of the Divine Dragon's secret zone to be like this. Fortunately, they did not destroy the dragon in the beginning. Otherwise, they would be dumbfounded. Lin Fei chuckled. Fortunately, you did not go all out. Otherwise, the shockwaves from our battle might have torn the dragon into pieces. If that happened, no one would be able to enter. Lin Fei could tell at a glance that the Divine Dragon's secret zone was hidden in the void. It was very powerful and did not leave any traces. Even if he used his divine senses to scan it, he would not be able to find it. This was the dust within the dust. The door to the Divine Dragon's secret zone was hidden in the dust. In other words, the expert who set this up must have reached a very high level of attainment in the Tao of space. It was not something that ordinary people could break. When the door was completely stabilized, the faintly discernible secret zone appeared in front of everyone's eyes. Behind the door were mountains, rivers, birds, and beasts. It did not look like a dead secret zone as they had imagined. Is this the divine dragon's secret zone? Why is it so different from what I imagined? There's life here. It seems like this is the origin of Huaxia. Chapter 40, 300. Before entering the divine dragon mysterious realm, everyone realized that the divine dragon mysterious realm was completely different from what they had imagined. They had thought that it would be an uninhabited, divine, dragon mysterious realm. Other than danger, there were all sorts of traps. Who would have thought that the divine dragon mysterious realm was like a paradise? It was completely out of everyone's expectations. This was not recorded in the information. If anyone still dared to say that the divine dragon arcane realm was an uninhabited place, they would be the first to capture them and beat them up. Open your dog eyes wide and take a good look. There were lives in the divine dragon arcane realm. Then, do you guys think there are any living people in the divine dragon mystery land? Someone suddenly asked. Everyone's expression changed slightly. If there were living people inside, it would be completely different. They had to be careful. Although traps were dangerous, they could still be prevented. However, if there were people alive, it would be a completely different story. Everyone hesitated. They had never seen such a scene before. The divine dragon mysterious realm is really not bad. It's like a paradise. I wonder who will go in first. Lin Fei laughed. The 4 kings were actually a little confused. Damn, they did not expect the divine dragon mysterious realm to be like this. If you asked them to go, they would be a little worried. Who knew what the situation would be like inside? If no one plans to go in first, then I will go in. It would be a pity if we don't take a look at such a good place. Lin Fei laughed and looked at Yi Zixuan and Yi Xian beside him. Are you guys waiting outside? Or are you going in with me? Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan did not dare to stay outside. They nodded. We will go in with you. Lin Fei led Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan into the door. By the time everyone reacted, the 3 of them were already inside the mysterious realm. It doesn't matter if it's dangerous or not, we have to go in. Even if there are living people, they can't be stronger than us. The demon king of Tianjue had been holding his breath for a long time. Now that he did not see Lin Fei, there was naturally no need to suppress it. He snorted coldly and directly rushed in. The remaining 3 kings were more or less the same. They didn't need to say anything and rushed in one after another. Without any hesitation, the others entered the divine dragon mystical ground as well. Just like that, Lin Fei swaggered into the secret realm. The place where they landed was a forest. When they entered, the rich spiritual energy of the world shocked Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan, and their eyes lit up. Yi Zixuan had always felt that the spiritual qi in the Kunlun mystic realm was very dense. However, compared to this place, it was simply unimaginable. Cultivating here for a year was equivalent to cultivating in the Kunlun mystic realm for 10 years. Is this the land of origin? The spiritual energy here is too dense. If I'm able to cultivate here for a year, I'll be able to easily break through to the innate realm. Yi Zixuan took a deep breath and sized up the surroundings. Yi Xian also nodded. It's really too rich. If I can cultivate here for a while, I might really be able to reach the innate level. Yi Xian was the weakest among them. At this moment, Lin Fei laughed. Do you guys really think that it's good to cultivate here? Yi Zixuan said without thinking, that's definitely a good place to cultivate. Compared to this, the Kunlun mystic realm is nothing. Then, take a look at what's in front. Lin Fei pointed forward and said. Yi Zixuan and Yi Xian did not understand, and they really looked forward. In front of them was a thicket, and there seemed to be no movement. However, in the next second, a giant black wolf suddenly leaped out of the thicket. The giant black wolf was very tall and very big, just like a pony. It appeared in front of Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan just like that. The ferocious aura directly made the 2 of them not dare to breathe loudly. Even though Yi Zixuan was an innate realm expert, and Yi Xian was only one step away from the innate realm. But in front of this giant wolf, they did not dare to make any movements. How can there be such a giant wolf? This is too unbelievable. Yi Zixuan and Yi Fan's minds were practically blank. They had never seen such a giant wolf before. Now that they were facing the giant wolf, they felt the threat of death. In other words, this giant wolf completely had the strength to kill them here. Subconsciously, they finally understood why Lin Fei would say that. It turned out that he had noticed this giant wolf the moment he came down. Scaring them like this, their little hearts could not take the stimulation. They did not dare to move. They were afraid that if they moved, this giant wolf would pounce on them. After all, ordinary wolves were also ferocious and terrifying, and now their bodies were even bigger. One could imagine how ferocious it was. Do you still think that cultivating here is a good thing? Just as Lin Fei finished speaking, a few screams immediately came from the seemingly quiet forest. The sound made one's hair stand on end. Yi Zixuan and Yi Xian immediately understood that someone was definitely in big trouble. Maybe they were targeted by these giant wolves, or maybe they were not. In any case, they were all at the same level. The spiritual energy here is very dense, surpassing that of the Kunlun secret realm. Naturally, the wild beasts that live here will all be enhanced, whether it is in terms of intelligence or size. That's why you guys see the giant wolf now. This giant wolf has the strength of at least the innate realm. Lin Fei said unhurriedly, "The sounds you guys heard just now should be from other people coming down. They were unlucky and encountered the beasts here. That's right, this giant wolf in front of you is actually a beast, just that its brain is not too developed." Beasts and spiritual beasts were only one word apart. But beasts were indeed more terrifying because they did not have intelligence and were purely driven by violence. After Lin Fei finished speaking, the huge black wolf suddenly moved. Its huge body pounced forward, stirring up a gust of wind. Yi Zixuan and Yi Xian were directly blasted away by this storm, and they only felt that their bodies were about to be torn apart. At first, they subconsciously thought that the giant black wolf was very strong, but when they really came into contact with it, they realized that the strength of the innate realm was actually nothing in front of this giant wolf. It could easily tear them into pieces. This was the most terrifying thing. They did not have the ability to resist at all. Before they even pounced, they were already defeated. At first, they thought that the divine dragon's secret realm was a paradise, but now it seemed like it was not. This was a land of hell. Cultivating here was purely thinking too much. Chapter 4301. The moment the giant wolf pounced, 5 sharp claws directly popped out from its claws and slashed at Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan. 5 rays of cold light attacked them head-on. Do not underestimate these 5 beams of cold light. An ordinary body of flesh and blood could be easily torn apart in front of these 5 beams of cold light. With a loud thud, the giant wolf fell to the ground in the next second. So it was Lin Fei who made a move. A beam of sword energy pierced through the giant wolf's head. One should not look at how this enormous wolf's strength was formidable, easily making Yi Zixuan suffer a great loss. However, in front of Lin Fei, it was just that kind of thing. But to Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan, they once again walked on the edge of hell. It was really hard to forget the strength of this giant wolf. If I'm not wrong, this place should have become the holy land of the demonic beasts. In this forest, including the forest outside, there are demonic beasts everywhere. You guys have to be careful. Don't get attacked by the demonic beasts. Lin Fei walked over and glanced at the giant wolf. Even though it was just an ordinary giant wolf, with the help of the spiritual qi of heaven and earth, in addition to the unique things in this forest, it actually developed a trace of spiritual intelligence and grew into its current form. It even had the strength of an innate. Lin Fei was getting more and more interested in this place. After a short rest, the 3 of them continued on their journey. The giant wolf's fur was also plucked off by Yi Xian, because this giant wolf's fur was very good. If it was used to make inner armor, it could block bullets. Yi Xian really couldn't bear to miss out on such good fur, so he forcefully plucked it off. Of course, it took a lot of time. The forest was very big, and monsters appeared from time to time. These monsters varied in size, but they were all very powerful. Along the way, they also saw many corpses. These were the people who followed them in. They were all killed by the monsters, and more than half of their bodies were eaten. The scene was a mess. Lin Fei was used to everything here. After all, the scenes he had seen before were not comparable to these small scenes. Not long after, they walked out of the forest. He had killed at least dozens of demonic beasts. This forest could be considered a dangerous place. That mountain is so tall. It's like a pillar that supports the heavens. How can there be such a tall mountain in the divine dragon mystery land? As soon as he got out of the forest, Yi Zishuan saw a huge mountain in front of her. This mountain towered between the heavens and the earth like a pillar that supported the heavens. It would be difficult not to notice it. I think there are many palaces on this mountain. Could there really be people living there? Yi Xian also narrowed his eyes and looked at the mountain. Lin Fei smiled. To think that there are still people living in the divine dragon mystery land. It looks like these people moved into the divine dragon mystery land a very, very long time ago. Lin Fei did not expect anyone to be alive in the divine dragon mystery land, but he did not expect there to be people living here. Looks like if I want the treasures of the divine dragon secret ground, I'll have to go to that mountain. That's the core of the divine dragon secret ground. If I'm not mistaken, the 4 kings should be there as well. Lin Fei wasn't too interested in treasures or whatnot. Now that he had the number 1 divine tree, the divine tree of life, other things were nothing to him. As long as he recovered his strength, it would be a piece of cake for him to take anything. Doesn't that mean that the people over there are from the ancient times? Yi Zishuan asked curiously. Not necessarily from the ancient times, but the modern people should be about the same. A few hundred years would be considered a long time. Lin Fei was experienced. He really did not believe that any ancient people could live until now. They must have come here in the ancient times to take advantage of the situation. Therefore, there were probably many powerful people in the divine dragon mystery land. Other than that, there was another possibility, and that was that these people were brought in by the ancestor. After all, the ancestor's ancient tomb was here. Many people came here for the things in the ancestor's ancient tomb. Just now, Lin Fei secretly sensed that there were no strong auras in the entire divine dragon mystery land, especially the ones that made his heart palpitate. So far, only the auras that made his heart palpitate were powerful opponents. As for the rest, they were just ordinary. The 3 of them quickly found a way out and headed towards the mountain. Although the mountain looked close, it was still a long way to go. Along the way, there were many monsters. Just like what was said, the divine dragon mystery land was rich in spirit energy. Therefore, a large number of monsters were born. Some of these monsters were alone, and some were in groups. It made one scalp go numb. Their group was the most relaxed. Whenever a monster came out, it was directly killed by the sword will. It did not even make a sound, leaving behind monster carcasses. In the beginning, Yi Xian would skin these monsters and prepare to use them to make inner armor, 1 for each person. But later on, there was more and more fur, so he did not skin them anymore. It took them 5 days to reach this mountain. It was as if the horse died from looking at the mountain. When they were not far away from the mountain, they finally realized how big the mountain was. Other than big, there was no other way to describe it. It was almost one with the world. It was like a stabilizing force. There were palaces all over the mountain. There were large and small palaces, giving off a very solemn and serene aura. At the bottom of the mountain was a large city built with huge black stones. It was built against the mountain, and with the palaces on the mountain, it made this place look very different. There seems to be a carriage in front. A carriage suddenly appeared on the road, not far away. There were monsters in front and behind the carriage. They were all tamed and were pulling the carriage obediently. The people around them all looked like they were wearing armor made of animal hide. Their auras were very powerful. The weakest was a transcendent master, and the rest were innate level masters. Such a lineup really made people's hearts tremble. It should be a caravan. But this caravan is different from the ones we usually see. They are all masters. There are 5 innate level masters, 1 at the peak innate level, and even the weakest is a transcendent master. And one of them can control these monsters. I wonder what kind of background this caravan has in this mountain city. Lin Fei's eyes were like torches. He saw through this caravan immediately. There were a lot of experts. What kind of experts are in front of us? Don't have any ideas about our wooden mountain chamber of commerce. I advise you to give up. When Lin Fei and the others noticed this caravan, a cold voice came from there. Obviously, they also noticed Lin Fei and the other 2 strangers. Lin Fei and the other 2 were dressed strangely, and it was hard not to be noticed. Chapter 4302. Lin Fei and the other 2 were indeed dressed in strange clothes. It was normal for them to be targeted by this caravan. No, they were noticed because they happened to be on the official road. The wooden mountain caravan also stopped, and a few strong men in animal skins walked out. Their eyes were very vigilant. In such a place, it had been a long time since someone appeared in such strange clothes. It seems that we have someone asking for directions. Lin Fei smiled. Who is the person in charge here? Come out and tell me. Lin Fei's voice was not light or heavy, but when it fell into the ears of those innate stage experts, their expressions changed drastically. I am Gu Shuzi, the manager of this wooden mountain chamber of commerce. I wonder where this brother is from, and what business do you have with our wooden mountain chamber of commerce? At this moment, a senile old man walked out of the carriage. Although the man looked old and clumsy, he had a dignified aura about him. It was obvious that he was indeed a steward. This place is very interesting. Please come over and tell me. Lin Fei only needed a glance to know the strength of these people, so he did not care. But for this old man, his pupils shrank and he could not help but exclaim, "You are outsiders. No, you are people from beyond the sky. Oh my God, I actually met people from beyond the sky." Not only the old man's voice was trembling, even these innate stage experts changed their expressions one by one. People from beyond the sky, that was a mysterious existence that had always been in the legends. They did not expect that they would actually meet one day. No wonder they were dressed completely different from their sacred land at the beginning. Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan were slightly stunned. Soon they understood what it meant. Obviously, these people also knew that they came from outside. I am Gu Shuzi, and I have seen people from beyond the sky. I think you must have just come in. Our Lord in the sacred land will be very happy when he finds out, because he is looking forward to the arrival of people from beyond the sky. Gu Shuzi also became very excited. Lin Fei originally thought that these people would all make a move. After all, they were different, and it was inevitable that these people would have some ideas. But now, it seemed that these people seemed to know about the people from beyond the heavens. Their tones and expressions changed. Obviously, they were all looking forward to the arrival of the people from outer space. In other words, that sacred mountain should have something to do with the people from beyond the heavens. Gu Shuzi invited the 3 of them to sit in the carriage with great enthusiasm. Lin Fei did not refuse and sat down with a smile. Soon, the carriage continued to move, swaying unsteadily. After asking a few random questions, Lin Fei gained a better understanding of this place. No, the divine dragon mystical land. For example, the mountain in front of them was originally called Mount Dragon God, because it was the dragon god mountain formed by a giant dragon. They all lived on the Dragon God Mountain, but they generally called that place the Holy Mountain, also known as the Holy Land. That was because it was the safest place in the entire divine Dragon Mystery Land. That place was blessed by the Dragon God. Outside, they would be attacked by demons at any moment. That can't be. The divine Dragon Mystery Land is so big. Is there really only one place that is the safest? Yi Zishuan asked curiously. Gu Shuzi smiled wryly and said, "It's a long story. The divine Dragon Mystery Land is not as good as everyone thinks. Although the spirit chi of heaven and earth is rich here, we have to face the attacks of monsters." Although Yi Zishuan had seen many monsters along the way, she felt that the entire divine Dragon Mystery Land was relatively safe. However, it seemed to be a little different from what she had imagined. This part of our journey is relatively safe. Monsters rarely appear in these places. But if they appear on the other side, it will be the holy land of monsters. When Gu Shuzi mentioned this, his face was full of fear, as if he had experienced something terrifying. At the same time, Heaven Eye Monarch and Heaven and Demon King landed in a quiet forest. In the beginning, they did not care much. Although these monsters were relatively powerful, it was not difficult for them to kill them. Moreover, the fur was quite good, and they could make a small profit if they brought it back. As they killed and killed, the situation was different. There were more and more monsters, and they were overwhelming. The strength of these monsters was also getting stronger. Even though they were chi refining experts, they felt pressured at this time. The demonic beasts, both inside and outside, had almost completely surrounded them. When they finally tore open a path, a huge figure appeared. And as soon as the figure appeared, it launched a fierce attack. Heaven Eye Monarch and Heaven End Demon King directly displayed their strength. But the huge figure was very incredible because it had 3 heads and 6 arms. The 6 arms were all holding huge weapons, and they were full of overbearing power. Upon contact, they could not resist at all, and were directly smashed away. Sure enough, you people from outer space have come. If you don't want to die, then obediently submit to me. Otherwise, I will directly eat you all up. The huge figure rushed over again, and the 3 heads let out a cold laugh. The 6 arms smashed down again, and a loud bang directly blew Heaven Eye Monarch and Heaven End Demon King away, and their bodies were covered with wounds. The strength of a Supreme Master. This is definitely the strength of a Supreme Master. Heaven Eye Monarch's face turned pale. They originally thought that the divine dragon's secret place would not be too dangerous, but who would have thought that after they finally killed the monsters, another incomparably huge monster would appear, and they would be defeated in one move. And it was also at the Supreme Master level. What kind of luck was this? More importantly, this huge figure knew that they were from the outside. Heaven and Demon King's face turned pale, but he suppressed the panic in his heart. What exactly are you? Why should I surrender to you? Aren't you afraid that I will destroy both of you? As soon as Heaven and Demon King said this, the 6 arms smashed down again. Heaven and Demon King could not resist at all, and he was directly smashed into the ground. The 6 arms stretched down, and Heaven and Demon King was grabbed. Just then, Heaven and Demon King finally saw what the other party looked like. It was a huge ape with 3 heads and 6 arms. It was unimaginably strong, and the strength that the 6 arms released was at the strength of a chi refining expert. Because I am King Kong, one of the 3 monster kings of the divine dragon's secret place. By relying on me, I can make your strength rise to the next level, and you will reach the Supreme Master level, which is also the foundation building realm. Chapter 4303. The Heaven Extinction Demon King and the Heaven Eye King were the unluckiest. As for the other 2 kings, they were much more relaxed, even though they were also being chased by the monsters. The Poison King and the 3 Stones Divine King landed in different parts of the forest. After being chased by the monsters, they realized that this place was different from what they had imagined. After leaving the forest, they also headed for Mount Dragon God. Because they encountered a hunter on the way, they used force to understand the situation. Hence, they immediately set their sights on Mount Dragon God. After learning about the people from outer space, they became even more curious and interested in Mount Dragon God. Lin Fei, Yi Zixuan, and the other two sat in the carriage, swaying. Along the way, they listened to Gu Shuzi and learned a lot about Mount Dragon God. Thump, 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 thump. Suddenly, the ground seemed to tremble. Gu Shuzi's expression changed immediately. I think we are being targeted by the monsters. Gu Shuzi immediately pulled the curtain open and walked out of the carriage. At this moment, everyone in the caravan gathered together because there was a black tide not far away. It turned out that they were all formed by monsters. These monsters were of different sizes, but they were all gathered together. The leader was a huge green bull. This green bull actually revealed a human-like smile and spoke in human language. Ha 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 ha, we are quite lucky. I actually caught a caravan. Children, go and tear them all to pieces. The voice of this green bull was very violent. With a command, all the demonic beasts rushed forward. Quick, deploy the battle formation. We must not let them attack us. The innate stage masters gathered immediately and deployed the battle formation. However, the battle formation had just been deployed, and after killing many monsters, it was blasted away by the opponent's monsters. Furthermore, there were special beasts hidden among these demonic beasts. These monsters could spit poisonous fog. Once they spit it out, it would be very pungent and make people dizzy. Even the innate stage masters could not withstand it. I didn't expect these monsters to target us, even though we were so careful. Gu Shuzi's gaze turned cold, and he was ready to take action himself. When Gu Shuzi rushed out, Yi Xian also came out and saw the green bull. Even though he was prepared, he was still frightened when he saw the green bull. Even in the Kunlun mystic realm, there had never been a green ox that could speak human language. The divine dragon arcane realm was indeed a magical place. This place is really like what it said. After the dragon god died, its essence blood turned into the flowers and plants in this secret realm. That's why this green ox can also speak human language. Yi Zixuan also walked out. That should be it. Lin Fei smiled and stood behind Yi Zixuan. If there is no accident, Gu Shuzi is no match for the green ox. Although the green ox is huge, it is invulnerable. Moreover, the green ox's strongest skill should be close combat. As the casualties of the demonic beasts increased, the green bull finally moved. In the end, I'll have to do it myself. A bunch of ants. I'll eat all of you in one bite. The green ox pounced forward. Although it was huge, its speed was extremely fast. After its 4 hooves landed on the ground, it was like an earthquake, forming a certain frequency. These innate stage masters were all swaying as if they would fall at any time. Did you see that? This is the green ox's talent, Earth Trample. It attacks by vibrations. Although these innate stage masters are all swaying, they have already been hit and are seriously injured. Lin Fei said very casually. However, in the eyes of Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan, the green ox was even more terrifying. In this divine dragon arcane realm, how many green ox beasts like this were there? They finally believed Gu Shuzi's words. Perhaps Mount Dragon God was the safest place in the draconic arcane realm. If they could see a green ox that could speak here, it was imaginable how dangerous this place was. The green ox rammed all the way. Bang, 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 bang. One by one, the innate stage masters were sent flying. After that, they all vomited blood and were seriously injured. Some of the weaker ones even died from a single collision. Gu Shuzi's face was full of anger. Green ox, go to hell. Gu Shuzi moved as if he was flying and slapped the back of the green ox with his palm. However, a layer of ripples appeared on the back of the green ox. The green ox took the opportunity to do a death roll. When it faced up, it opened its mouth and spat out a wind blade. It instantly slashed on Gu Shuzi's body, leaving a wound. "Stupid human! How dare you fight me in close combat? I wonder who gave you the courage." The green ox revealed a contemptuous look. It quickly pounced on Gu Shuzi again. Gu Shuzi was injured in one move. The wound was shocking. He dodged the green ox's fierce attacks again and again, and it seemed that he was not far from being defeated. Gu Shuzi's palm technique was very overbearing, but the green ox's defense was also very good. After being hit several times, it did not seem to be injured at all. There was nothing but disdain. Should we help Gu Shuzi? After all, we still have to go to Mount Dragon God. Lin Fei said with a smile, "Both of you are still a little weak. However, this green ox is suitable for training. Anyway, we are still free now. You can go up and train." After Yi Zixuan and Yi Xian came to Mount Dragon God, no, it was the draconic mystical realm. They felt particularly aggrieved because the monsters they encountered made them feel pressured. In the beginning, Yi Zixuan was also a proud daughter of the heavens, but in front of Lin Fei, her arrogance was completely shattered. Now that there was a chance for training, and it was Lin Fei who said it, it was definitely not dangerous. Moreover, with Lin Fei here, Yi Zixuan could rest assured. Without any hesitation, Yi Zixuan and Yi Xian rushed out. The three of them besieged the green ox together. Although the three of them besieged the green ox together, the remaining monsters were still attacking. These innate experts had suffered the attack of Earth Trample, so their strength had been affected to a certain extent. Under the densely packed monsters, they seemed to be powerless. Just as they were about to feel despair, Lin Fei waved his hand. His sword was swept across the bodies of these demonic beasts like a gust of wind. One by one, the demonic beasts were sent flying and fell to the ground, dead. "Get lost!" The monsters that were trying to pounce again curled their tails in fear when they heard this voice and ran away without saying a word. In the blink of an eye, the place became empty. Only the green ox was still fighting with Gu Shuzi, Yi Xian, and Yi Xian. If it were not for the corpses of the monsters, it would be hard to imagine that they had just been attacked by monsters. Chapter 4304. Gu Shuzi, who was fighting with the green bull, was under great pressure. On one hand, he had to watch out for the green ox, and on the other hand, he also had to worry about the safety of the caravan. With the addition of Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan, the pressure was alleviated a lot, but he was still very worried about the caravan. After a gust of wind swept past, Gu Shuzi was surprised to find that the monstrous beasts that were besieging them had all disappeared, leaving behind a large pile of corpses on the ground. Gu Shuzi knew that the expert from outer space had taken action. He didn't even know how he did it, but the ground was already full of monsters. Now he was completely relieved. The green ox was busy fighting. Although there were two people in strange clothes, it did not affect him at all. Very soon, it discovered that there was a problem because all its subordinates had run away, and there were a large number of demon beast corpses left on the ground. At this moment, the green bull's bell-like eyes swept back and forth, and very quickly, his gaze landed on a young man. It was also a person dressed in strange clothes. With just one glance, the green ox trembled all over, turned around and ran inside. The green ox sensed a terrifying killing intent from the other party. I'm scared, I'm running away." This was the green ox's instinctive feeling. This guy was definitely a powerful guy. Once he made a move, he wouldn't be able to escape. The green ox did not even dare to say anything harsh. It was afraid that once it opened its mouth, there would be no more time. "The beef thighs on your body are not bad. I'll leave one for you. It just so happens that I know where my lunch is." "What? You want my cow thighs?" The green ox broke out in a cold sweat and ran even faster. Even the ground made thumping sounds. But in the next second, a cold light flashed past, and the green ox let out a blood-curdling screech. It swayed, and with a plop it broke a large tree. It turned out that one of its hind legs had actually fallen off. not bothering to look at the green bull with its hind leg on the ground. It rushed into the forest in a sorry state. Along the way, the big trees kept falling, and in the blink of an eye, it disappeared without a trace. Gushuzi was also dumbfounded. That was Green Ox, the strongest existence in the innate realm. Now, this green bull actually left a hind leg behind and ran away just like that. Immediately, a Xiantian master staggered over and brought the cow thigh back. Even if it was just a cow's thigh, it was still extremely heavy. This Xiantian expert was so tired that he was panting heavily. "Thank you, young Master Lin, for doing us a big favor. If you don't make a move, our Wood Mountain Chamber of Commerce will probably not be able to survive and return to Dragon God Mountain. You guys should have barbecued beef thighs here, right? It just so happens that you guys are tired. You guys can take a break. The demonic beasts here are all yours. We don't have any use for them." An inborn expert stepped forward. "I'm a chef. I've never barbecued a peak innate realm green ox thigh before, but I'm happy to cook this thigh for you, Senior." Soon, these people began to clean up the scene. First, they put all the demon beasts together, took their fur, and refined their flesh. They were very busy. "Look, we're not too far away from Mount Dragon God. Why would there be Yao beasts attacking you? Additionally, it looks like this Azure Ox has quite the background." Lin Fei asked casually because he had already smelled the aroma of the beef thigh. This was the thigh of an innate realm Yao beast. The energy it contained was extraordinary. To Lin Fei, this was nothing more than a sumptuous meal. It had been a long time since he had encountered an innate realm Yao beast with such rich blood and qi. If Green Ox knew that Lin Fei made a move just because he thought the beef thigh was delicious, it would probably vomit blood in anger. Gu Shuzi sighed. In fact, the divine dragon mysterious realm is a paradise for Yao beasts because the Yao beasts here are stronger than the warriors of Mount Dragon God. For example, that Azure Ox just now is at the peak of the inborn realm. It can sweep away a lot of inborn experts. Therefore, we have to be careful. The second one is Long Chinzu, an ape with 3 heads and 6 arms. He has extraordinary strength. Even the top experts of Mount Dragon God are no match for him. The second one is Long Chinzu, whose original form is a centipede. He has the blood of the Dragon God, so his combat strength is very strong. He can use 18 weapons and is more powerful than King Kong. The last one is called Emoing. He is the most special one among the 3 kings. His strength is also the most special because his combat strength is not strong. However, he has a unique ability which is possession. Once you are possessed by Emoing, you will be under his control. That Azure Ox is King Kong's subordinate. Gu Shuzi spoke eloquently again. It seems that Mount Dragon God is indeed the only safe place left. Lin Fei also understood Gu Shuzi's problem. Although Mount Dragon God was the safest place, there was still a barrier that blocked the attacks of the Yao beasts. Such a barrier required a certain amount of consumption, and the consumption was in the dragon mysterious realm. They needed to keep searching for it, so they risked their lives to search for it. For example, if it weren't for Lin Fei, all of them would have died here. Dragon God Mountain wasn't unfamiliar with situations like this. At certain times, there would always be people who would search for source stones to maintain the barrier's power. No matter who received this mission, it would be very troublesome. Soon, the Azure Ox leg was roasted and served. You too have weak qi and blood. Eat the Azure Ox leg. Maybe you can make a breakthrough in your realm. Lin Fei tore off a piece of green beef and said with a smile. The Azure Ox leg weighed hundreds of kilograms. Even Lin Fei and the other 2 could not finish it. Therefore, Gu Shuzi was lucky enough to taste it. Lin Fei ate very slowly. On the contrary, after Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan ate it, their qi and blood surged violently. Obviously, this beef was extraordinary. Lin Fei slapped the beef with his palm. Soon, the 2 of them digested the beef and completely absorbed its essence. After eating a little beef, they made a breakthrough in an instant. Yi Xian was the most excited one. He was originally stuck in the innate realm. Now, after eating the beef, he directly broke through. Yi Zixuan also made a breakthrough. Her strength had improved a lot. Now, if she encountered the Azure Ox again, she would not be so embarrassed. At the very least, she could deal with it calmly. Even if she could not kill the Azure Ox, she could easily leave. The Azure Ox leg that could not be finished was soon distributed to the innate realm masters. They were all very excited. Chapter 4305. The caravan left. They left with a large amount of beast hide and meat. After they left, a huge figure emerged. However, it walked with a limp which looked very strange. This was the green ox that had left. At this moment, the green ox's eyes were almost spewing fire, flashing with anger. Someone from beyond the heavens. That must be someone from beyond the heavens. The King Kong asked us to keep an eye on the whereabouts of someone from beyond the heavens. I didn't expect to run into him. The green ox seemed to have left, but in fact it was hiding. No one knew that the green ox had an innate magical ability, which was to attach its mind to the corpse of the monster. Therefore, it heard everything clearly and more or less guessed the general situation. The green ox's desire for revenge was very strong. Losing a leg would have a great impact on its strength, so it had to remember who did it. Although there were many experts in the sacred mountain, and the green ox was afraid of some, no one could use sword intent to easily cut off one of its legs. I must report this news to the king. When the time comes, the king will personally go out and capture the person from beyond the heavens. I must eat one of his legs. No, I want to eat both of his legs. Only then can I vent the anger in my heart. The green ox returned immediately and kept shuttling through the forest. After half a day, it went into a cave. The cave was winding, but when it reached the bottom, it turned into a huge natural cave. There were a large number of monsters living in the cave, but they were all orderly. The green ox soon saw its king. The King Kong, the three-headed and six-armed King Kong, was eating a monster. In 2 or 3 bites, it had devoured hundreds of kilograms of monster meat. King, I just received shocking news. Someone from beyond the heavens has come to our secret realm. As soon as the green ox finished speaking, its pupils shrank. His pupils suddenly shrank. He noticed that there were 2 people dressed in strange clothes beside the king. They seemed to be very similar to the young man from before. Little Ching, you found out too late. However, it seems like you've suffered a loss at the hands of someone from beyond the heavens. Even one of your legs was cut off. The King Kong laughed heartily. The green ox knelt on the ground. My king, I brought the little ones to attack a caravan. In the end, we encountered someone from beyond the heavens, and one of our legs was cut off. Please help me, my king. I must eat that bastard. Azure Ox had a certain status under the King Kong because he was invulnerable and extremely strong. I wonder if the one who attacked you was a young man. Heaven's End Demon King stood up and said coldly, If it's this person, then I know who he is. He should be Lin Fei. That's right, that's right. It's a young man. He seems to have brought an old man and a woman with him. Those 2 have average strength, but that young man is extremely terrifying. I didn't even notice it, and one of my thighs was cut off. If it wasn't for the fact that old cow ran fast, I would have been eaten by now. At the thought of this, the green ox shuddered subconsciously. He was too scared. Old cow, would also be eaten by someone one day. He had always been the one eating others. When had it ever been someone else's turn to eat him? The King Kong laughed heartily. Old cow, to think that you would have such a day. I told you to be careful. Those guys on the sacred mountain aren't that easy to deal with. I didn't expect you to encounter someone from beyond the heavens first. It's already good enough that you came back alive. However, don't worry. You're my general. If someone from beyond the heavens dares to eat your thighs, he will be my enemy. Heaven's End Demon King cupped his hands at the King Kong and said, My king, that kid is a sword expert. He can use a powerful sword formation. Even the 4 of us couldn't take advantage of him. I think that kid must have a big secret. My king, if you capture him, you will definitely gain a lot. Heavens and Demon King had suffered at the hands of Lin Fei. Therefore, when he heard that it was Lin Fei, he definitely wanted to smear him. Moreover, he also guessed that Lin Fei must have a big secret. If the King Kong made a move, Lin Fei would definitely not be able to escape even if he grew wings. The King Kong's eyes flickered. Then all three heads laughed. Since he has a big secret, I can also exercise my body. I haven't attacked the sacred mountain for a long time. It's about time to contact those two guys. King Kong, you don't need to contact them. We came uninvited. Since the people from beyond the heavens have come, then the rumors have come true. It's also time for us to make a move. At this time, two figures walked in. They were the other two of the three kings, Long Qianzu and Mo Ying. Long Qianzu was a ferocious-looking man. His whole body exuded a fiendish aura. His body was riddled with scars, and the most eye-catching thing behind him were the 18 tentacle-like arms. Each arm was holding a weapon, and it was a shocking sight to behold. The Mo Ying couldn't be seen clearly. His whole body was covered by a cloak. He was clearly standing in front of you, but in the blink of an eye, he seemed to have disappeared. It was a very strange feeling. This was the best proof of the Mo Ying. No one could learn the Mo Ying's move. Therefore, no one could impersonate him. I heard that the people from beyond the heavens have come. The three of us haven't fought for a long time. Why don't we try the sacred mountain? The Mo Ying said coldly. When the three kings were gathered, Lin Fei and the others finally arrived at the sacred mountain. Only when they reached the foot of the sacred mountain did they realize how big the Dragon God Mountain was. They saw that the Dragon God Mountain was filled with palaces of various sizes. They were built on the mountain. When looking at it from afar, they felt shocked. When they saw it in front of them, they felt even more shocked. It was a towering Dragon God Mountain. Gu Shuzi, you are lucky to be able to come back. I heard that many caravans were attacked by demonic beasts not long ago. Your caravan is intact. There was a barrier at the entrance of the city. A small patrol team was stationed here, and the leader was a peak Xiantian expert. The man recognized Gu Shuzi at a glance and smiled. We are lucky. Otherwise, we would have ended up like them. It's really hard to collect source stones. Gu Shuzi smiled bitterly. By the way, go and report that I have something important to report to the Sacred Lord. Gu Shuzi said again. The leader of the patrol team rarely saw Gu Shuzi say something like this. His face turned solemn. Are you sure you have something to report to the Sacred Lord? You should know that once the Sacred Lord sees you, you will be in trouble if it's not something important. Because the people from beyond the heavens have come. I don't know if this news is worth reporting to the Sacred Lord. Shikju website, Chapter 4306. At the highest point of Dragon God Mountain, there was a huge palace that overlooked everything below. This place was called the Dragon God Palace. A figure hurried into the Dragon God Palace. Finally, he came to the main hall. The main hall was empty, except for a huge dragon-shaped statue in the middle, which was very eye-catching. In front of the dragon-shaped statue, a man sat cross-legged. He wore a crown and exuded a majestic aura. Sacred Lord, I've just received news that people from beyond the heavens have come. The proverb left by the patriarch has come true. This person is at the foot of the mountain. Should we summon them immediately? The man softened his footsteps and knelt behind the Sacred Lord. His expression became extremely respectful. The man wearing the crown slowly opened his eyes, and 2 rays of light flashed across them. The Sacred Lord did not have a name, because after becoming the Sacred Lord of Dragon God Mountain, there was only the word Sacred Lord left. I didn't expect that after waiting for more than 1,000 years, people from beyond the heavens have finally come. This is good news. Invite them up immediately. I'll welcome them personally. The Sacred Lord smiled. He bowed to the dragon's statue with both hands. Patriarch, Patriarch, your words have finally come true. People from beyond the heavens have really come. Lin Fei did not stop Gu Shuzi from reporting the situation. He had already known along the way. From Gu Shuzi, Lin Fei learned one thing. The Patriarch of Dragon God Mountain seemed to have left a message a long time ago, saying that people from beyond the heavens would enter the divine dragon mysterious land one day. This was something very normal to Lin Fei. Moreover, although the appearance of the sinkhole seemed mysterious, it seemed to have been planned. Therefore, Lin Fei also wanted to know what the words left behind by the Patriarch meant. Or was there some secret in the divine dragon mysterious land? Or perhaps the Patriarch had left something good, which was why there was such an arrangement. He would know all of this once he met the Sacred Lord. Not long after, on the winding mountain road, a patrol team arrived. However, the appearance of this patrol team shocked the entire Dragon God Mountain. That was because this patrol team was the Dragon God patrol team. There was only one such patrol team in the entire Dragon God Mountain. This patrol team's strength had reached the innate realm. Every single one of them was in the innate realm. This was also the most powerful force of Mount Dragon God. May I ask if the three of you are guests from outer space? Our Saint Master welcomes you very much. An armored Xiantian expert walked over. Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan felt a lot of pressure. After all, the patrol team this time was made up of innate level people, and they seemed to have received a certain boost. It was as if they were a team, and they could feel the power from the first encounter. I'm very interested in your holy lord. Take us there. Lin Fei was very calm. Under the guidance of this patrol team, the three of them walked all the way to Mount Dragon God. The Dragon God Mountain's palace was different from other places. There were traces of the Dragon God everywhere, and these people were all wearing beast skins or armor, which was very different. Not long after, they arrived at the top of the Dragon God Mountain, and the Dragon God Palace appeared in front of them. The three of you must be guests from outer space. Welcome to the Dragon God Palace. I'm the Saint Master here. At the entrance of the Dragon God Palace, the Saint Master personally came out to welcome them. Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan were a little flattered. They could feel an unfathomable aura from the other party. They had only felt such an aura from a supreme being before. Could it be that this Saint Master was a supreme being? You're too kind, Saint Master. We're just a group of passers-by. We came to the Divine Dragon's secret realm just to take a look, but it's more interesting than I thought, Lin Fei said generously. Just like what he said, the others came to the Divine Dragon's secret realm to look for treasures, while Lin Fei came to watch the show and to meet the ancestor. It couldn't be helped. Who asked Lin Fei to have that kind of interest and that kind of thought? Gossiping was quite interesting. This surprised the Saint Master a little. There were very few people who said it so openly and without hiding it. I wonder what this brother's surname is. It's rare to see someone as straightforward as you. Lin Fei, he's just an ordinary person. The corner of the Saint Master's eyes twitched. If you were an ordinary person, the others would be in trouble. Moreover, the demonic beasts that could break in from the outside were enough to give people a headache. Even an inborn expert would have to be careful when he was outside, fearing that he would be besieged by the demonic beasts. Everyone, please come in. The three followed the Saint Master into the Dragon God Palace. There were side halls of various sizes in the Dragon God Palace. In one of the side halls, the three sat down. After they sat down, a servant immediately served tea. This is the dragon blood tea, unique to the Dragon God Palace. It's used to strengthen one's physical body. The three of you must be tired after coming from afar. You can try this dragon blood tea. The 3 cups of dragon blood tea were blood red in color, and one could feel the heat coming from them. After taking a look, Lin Fei picked up a cup of dragon blood tea and took a sip. A domineering effect spread through his body. It's indeed pure dragon blood tea. The effect is amazing. Doesn't this mean that a dragon god has fallen in the divine dragon mysterious realm? I always thought it was a joke, but it seems like it's true. After taking a sip of dragon blood tea, Lin Fei knew that a dragon god had fallen in the divine dragon mysterious realm. The dragon god should be a real divine dragon with a very high bloodline to produce such dragon blood tea. Otherwise, it wouldn't have such an effect. If an ordinary cultivator were to consume the dragon blood tea day and night, the effects would be extraordinary. Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan were curious. There was such a tea. Both of their physical bodies were average. However, after consuming the dragon blood tea, they felt as if they were in a furnace. It was a very strange feeling, but it also made them realize that this dragon blood tea was indeed good stuff. There is indeed a dragon god in the divine dragon mysterious realm. However, this place used to be a battlefield. The Saint Master explained, and it was a dragon-slaying battlefield. Later on, the divine dragon mysterious realm came into being. It can be said that the entire divine dragon mysterious realm was evolved by the dragon god. We, the younger generation, just got some luck. A dragon-slaying battlefield? That's a little hard to tell. Lin Fei didn't see any traces left behind. All he saw was the abnormality of the divine dragon mysterious realm. This happened a long time ago. It can be traced back to thousands of years ago. Brother Lin, other than the few of you, is there anyone else here? If they enter the territory of the 3 demon kings, it'll be troublesome, the Saint Master said. Chapter 4307. The Holy Lord didn't stay for long. Everyone's topic was very simple, and they didn't have a deep understanding of each other. Lin Fei and the other 2 were arranged to stay in the side hall of the Dragon God Palace. The Holy Lord arranged for people to take care of them and allowed them to walk freely in Sagely Mountain. He didn't look like he was going to make things difficult for them. Young Master Lin, don't you think that the Holy Lord seemed very calm when we came in but didn't say anything important? I think it's a little weird. After staying in the side hall, Yi Zixuan suddenly asked, I thought a smart woman like you wouldn't even notice this. This Saint Lord is indeed different, so we should be careful. However, I'm sure he has something to ask of us. Otherwise, he wouldn't have told us about the arrival of people from beyond the sky. If I'm not mistaken, he's probably waiting for someone. Once everyone is here, he might take the initiative to look for us. Lin Fei wasn't surprised. Maybe Yi Zixuan couldn't see anything, but Lin Fei could. This Holy Lord did have some thoughts about them. He didn't sense any killing intent from the Holy Lord, so Lin Fei pretended that nothing was wrong. Whatever the Holy Lord wanted to do, he would do it first. Lin Fei just had to watch quietly. Lin Fei didn't think that the Holy Lord would be like this. He definitely had something to do with them staying in the Dragon God Palace. However, Lin Fei couldn't guess what it was, but it most likely had something to do with the ancestor. While staying in the Dragon God Palace, Lin Fei and the others walked around Sagely Mountain. Compared to the outside world, Sagely Mountain was rather backward. However, they could see all sorts of things here. Bartering was also a popular practice here. The most common was exchanging beast meat for beast meat. As for the rest, it depended on the mood of both parties. Lin Fei also exchanged some things here, but the things he used were very simple. He used pills to exchange for them. This was because these things could only be found in the divine dragon's secret realm and couldn't be found outside. For example, medicinal ingredients. The medicinal ingredients here all contained traces of dragon blood essence. The pills refined from them would definitely have shocking effects. Lin Fei did not hesitate to sweep through the area. All of a sudden, Lin Fei, a person from beyond the heavens, became a big local tycoon here. Although the effects of the pills that Lin Fei refined himself could not be compared to the ones in the other world, it was still quite good when placed in this divine dragon's secret manual. This was because the skills of the alchemists in the divine dragon arcane territory were very crude. Although they all knew how to concoct pills, it was a waste of materials. Poison King and Three Stones God King are here as well. In a restaurant on the Holy Mountain, Lin Fei bumped into the Poison King and the Three Stones God King. It was not surprising that the two of them ran into Lin Fei. When they entered Mount Dragon God, they already knew about Lin Fei. "If you don't mind, let's sit down and have a drink together," said the Poison King proactively. Lin Fei naturally had no objections. Anything is fine. Whether it was the Poison King or the Three Stones God King, both of them were wary of Lin Fei. "Young Master Lin, I have to tell you some unfortunate news. The Heaven's End Demon King and the Heaven's Eye King seem to have fallen into the Three Demon Kings' territory. I don't know if they are alive or dead." The Poison King sighed when he said this. "It can't be. The two of them are so unlucky to have entered the Three Demon Kings' territory. I don't think they will end up well." Lin Fei was speechless. Of all places, they had to go to the Three Demon Kings' territory. Wasn't that just asking for death? Lin Fei guessed that the Three Demon Kings were probably at the same level as the Honorable, which was the strength of the Foundation Establishment realm. Who would have thought that there would be Demon Kings in the Divine Dragon Arcane territory? "I heard that Demon Kings are at the same level as the Honorable, or even stronger." Three Stones God King sighed. When they entered, they were already prepared. They did not expect it to be more terrifying than they imagined. The strength of the Heaven's End Demon King and the Heaven's Eye King was obvious. In the end, there was no news of them when they arrived, and they did not know if they were dead or alive. Of course, they were happy. After all, two less kings meant less fighting for resources. In the future, only the two of them had the chance to step into the honorable realm. The four kings had been fighting for so long. Now that they heard that the Heaven's Eye King and the Heaven's End Demon King had fallen into the Demon King's territory, they were indeed a little sad. "Now that you are at Mount Dragon God, what do you plan to do next?" Lin Fei asked with interest. "The resources here are quite good. It's much better than outside." The Poison King and the Three Stones God King laughed bitterly. "We did not bring much with us when we came, so we only exchanged some medicinal ingredients. However, I feel that this Holy Lord is not simple. I wonder if young Master Lin noticed anything?" The Poison King asked. "We all came from the outside, so we are in the same boat. If the Holy Lord schemed against us, it would be bad," Three Stones God King said. "If the four kings were here, they might not be so worried. However, now that there were only the two of them left, Lin Fei, who was stronger than them, naturally became their target. No matter what, they had to stand on the same line. Otherwise, they would not be able to find help when something unexpected happened. Until now, they still could not tell what level Lin Fei was at. In any case, his strength was higher than theirs, but he had not yet stepped into the honorable realm. Why think so much? Anyway, even if the Holy Lord wants something, we just have to wait. He will speak up sooner or later. If we have the time, we might as well take a look around the sacred mountain. Sometimes we might even find some good stuff," Lin Fei said casually. However, the Poison King and Three Stones God King could not do as they pleased. They came to the Divine Dragon's secret territory to search for treasures. In the end, there were living people in the Divine Dragon's secret territory, Mount Dragon God and the Three Demon Kings. The situation suddenly became complicated. Their desire to search for treasures was suddenly shaken. Who knew if they would run into big trouble? Over the past few days, they did not stop asking around about the sacred mountain. In the end, the situation in the Divine Dragon's secret territory was worse than they had imagined. The thought of going out to search for treasures was immediately extinguished. After all, there were so many monsters outside. They had personally experienced it. Once they were surrounded by a dense horde of monsters, even Qi refinement realm experts like them would not be a match for them. They had not met any powerful ones before. Otherwise, they would not have the chance to stand here and talk. Young Master Lin is still optimistic. They knew that they could not do that. Dong, 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 dong. At this moment, there was a commotion. The people in the inns and restaurants immediately became nervous. Someone exclaimed, "Not good. The demon kings must be attacking. They are going to attack the city. Hurry and defend the city. We cannot let the monsters charge into our Mount Dragon God. Otherwise, we will all be in trouble." Chapter 43:08. One figure after another quickly rushed out of the inn, all of them rushing outside. Lin Fei and the others were the first to see what was happening outside. At that moment, the entire holy mountain was filled with moving figures. The Yao Kings are attacking the city. To think that we would run into something like this. The Poison King was speechless. Is it because of us that the 3 demon kings have come to attack the city? I've heard that these demon kings rarely come to attack cities. It might not be a big deal if just one of them comes. But if all 3 demon kings come, this sacred mountain will be in trouble. Three Stones God King suddenly said, "Since the Yao Kings are attacking the city, let's go take a look and see what's going on." Lin Fei laughed and rushed out. The others did not hesitate to follow. Compared to other places, Holy Mountain was rather orderly. Clearly, these people were used to the Yao Kings attacking the city. There was no hint of panic or unease. Instead, there was determination. By the time Lin Fei and the others reached the city walls, there was already a large number of people gathered there. All of them were armed with weapons and clad in armor. I didn't expect the 3 Yao Kings to attack the city. How is that possible? I heard that the 3 Yao Kings have not attacked the city for a long time. We are in big trouble now. If it's just one Yao King attacking the city, it would be fine. However, if it's 3 Yao Kings, the Holy Lord will have to step in. When Lin Fei and the others arrived, they heard these people talking. Outside the city walls, the 3 Yao Kings had brought at least tens of thousands of Yao beasts. They were gathered outside the city. It was a rather majestic sight. Anyone who saw it would be afraid. Even Xiantian experts would feel their hair stand on end when they saw the Yao beasts. Their faces would turn pale. It was rare for the 3 Yao Kings to join forces to attack a city. Look over there. Is that Heaven I Monarch and Demon King Heaven and Monarch? Why are they together with King Vajra? The Poison King suddenly said as he looked in a direction. Lin Fei and the others looked over and saw Heaven I Monarch and Demon King Heaven and Monarch. At that moment, they were standing beside a huge ape. The ape was none other than King Vidra. It had 3 heads and 6 arms and was very easy to recognize. This was because the 3 great monster kings were all very unique. He could recognize them at a glance. There was no way he would mistake them. Looks like they're quite lucky. They actually got along well with King Kong, one of the 3 great Yao monarchs. Lin Fei laughed. Who knows? They might have been involved in the attack on Sacred Mountain. The faces of the Poison King and 3 Stones Divine King changed slightly when they heard that. They agreed with this logic because all of this was too much of a coincidence, so much so that they cannot believe it. Why do I get the feeling that those 2 fellows' strength has risen again? How long has it been? Did they get some benefits from the 3 great Yao Kings? The Poison King suddenly exclaimed. Although he was not far away from them, the Poison King could feel that their strength had changed a lot. They were old rivals, so there was still some telepathy between them. At a glance, they could feel that they had become different. If this wasn't an increase in strength, then what was? It seems like his strength has really increased. 3 Stone God King could also tell that something was amiss. When Lin Fei and the others saw Heaven Eye King and Demon King, Heaven's End, they also noticed Lin Fei. Great King, that kid over there is Lin Fei. He has quite a lot of good stuff on him. Heaven Eye King noticed Lin Fei as well. In the beginning, Heaven Eye King and Demon King, Heaven's End, were still feeling uneasy. However, they had obtained quite a lot of good stuff from King Kong, which had increased their strength in an instant. Although they were still experts at the peak of Chi Disciple, This increase in strength was something that they might not be able to achieve in 10 years. Where else could they find something like this? So now they were not angry at all. They were happy because they had encountered such a good thing. Now that they saw Poison King, Three Stones Divine King, and Lin Fei's group, they were confident that they could fight against Lin Fei again. They wanted to see who was stronger. That kid is Lin Fei? He is indeed different. He actually gave me a dangerous aura. I didn't expect the visitors from beyond the heavens to be so strong. King Kong looked over as well. His huge pupils constricted slightly. Then he immediately revealed his excitement. Heaven Eye King and Demon King Heaven's end strength could only be considered average. They couldn't even beat the Monster Kings. However, that Lin Fei was a little different. King Kong found some interest. Three Monster Kings. What is the meaning of this? Are you here to attack Dragon God Mountain again? Don't tell me that the lesson our Dragon God Mountain has given you is not enough? An angry voice reverberated between heaven and earth. Holy Leader flew out and landed on the city wall. Other than Holy Leader, there were also a dozen people in black armor. These armored people landed on the city wall one by one. They were expressionless, but they gave off a valiant aura just by standing there casually. It seems like Holy Mountain has quite a lot of good stuff. They even have puppet warriors. Lin Fei also noticed the black-armored warriors. With just a glance, he could tell that these armored warriors were not ordinary. Any one of them could easily kill an innate expert. In other words, these guys had the strength of chi refinement. Lin Fei counted a total of 18 of them. In other words, these 18 black-armored warriors could form a battle formation. Aside from Holy Leader, this was probably the strongest method. Holy Leader, we didn't come to attack. We just wanted you to open the ancestral sacred ground. After all, the people from beyond the heavens are here. We can open the ancestral sacred ground now. Are you going to keep it open? Long Qianzu, who was the strongest, laughed. That's right. It's okay if you don't open the ancestral sacred ground. We can just force our way in. King Kong laughed. Actually, I quite agree with this suggestion. Holy Leader, you can think about it. Emoing laughed as well. When Holy Leader saw the three Monster Kings, he wasn't too shocked. However, when he saw the other two visitors from beyond the heavens, he finally understood what was going on. It turned out that he had found two helpers. These two experts were at the pinnacle of chi refinement. With their support, they would have the strength of a supremacy. In other words, they had 5 supremacy experts on their side. Such a lineup could not be underestimated. If the 3 Monster Kings could attack the city again, they must have some tricks up their sleeves. Lin Fei was startled. He finally understood why the 3 Monster Kings had come to attack the city. It seemed that the visitors from beyond the heavens had something to do with the opening of the ancestral sacred ground. This Holy Leader was still hiding many secrets. Holy Mountain's ancestral sacred ground is not something you can open as you please. You, 3 Monster Kings, are too arrogant. Holy Leader said coldly, "It seems that you don't plan on opening the ancestral sacred ground for us. In that case, we 3 Monster Kings will have to do it ourselves. Let's see if you can stop us this time." Long Qianzu's eyes were cold. "I feel that there is something that needs to be settled before we attack the city. I wonder which one of you is called Lin Fei. You chopped off one of my subordinates' legs. I feel that we can talk about this." Chapter 4309. The King Kong took the initiative to step forward and look at the city wall. At the same time, he stared at Lin Fei. Everyone immediately understood what he meant. He was targeting Lin Fei, the man from beyond the heavens. Cutting off one of the green ox's legs was a big move. Everyone knew that the green ox was a capable general under the King Kong. He was invulnerable and strong, and was a good vanguard. No one expected him to have one of his legs chopped off. Many people began to covet the green ox's leg. It was definitely a good item. If it was taken out for sale, everyone would fight for it. After all, it was a green ox at the peak. King Kong, it was that kid who chopped off one of my legs. If he hadn't used despicable means, he wouldn't have succeeded. The green ox with a lame leg jumped out and roared. King Kong, don't go too far. Lin Fei is a guest of the divine dragon's secret territory, as well as a guest of our sacred mountain. If you cause trouble for Lin Fei, you're going against our sacred mountain. Fight me if you have the guts. The sacred leader snorted coldly. He had naturally heard of this matter. Now, it seemed that he had underestimated Lin Fei. Even the sacred leader felt helpless against the green ox's defense. He did not expect Lin Fei to chop off one of its legs. The green ox's strength was greatly reduced after losing one of its legs, which meant that the King Kong had lost a capable subordinate. Unless the green ox broke through one day or found a treasure, it would not be able to recover its leg. Sacred leader, there's no need to trouble you with this. I've long heard of the King Kong's reputation. I didn't expect him to be so different. He has 3 heads and 6 arms. Amazing. Lin Fei laughed. King Kong, are you sure you want to have a big fight with me? I wouldn't fight an ordinary person. I heard that visitors from outer space are very bold, and you are also very strong. Could it be that you plan to be a coward in the Holy Mountain? That's fine. Once we break through the Holy Mountain, we will naturally find you to exchange pointers. When that time comes, I won't be the only one dealing with you. The Vajra King chuckled. If you could take down the sacred mountain, you would have done so long ago. Why are you spouting so much nonsense? This has nothing to do with me. You have to show me something that interests me. I heard that you demon kings have been entrenched in the divine dragon's secret land for a long time. As long as you can show me something that interests me, I will naturally fight you. Otherwise, you can only take down the sacred mountain first. King Kong really wanted to provoke Lin Fei so that he would come out. It would be even better if he could take down the other party. The Vajra King sensed an extraordinary aura from the other party. It was obvious that this person had secrets. The Vajra King's eyesight had always been very good. Moreover, he had 3 heads, so he could think further than anyone else. Every detail and movement could be infinitely magnified. Ordinary people simply could not achieve such an achievement. What about me, the Vajra King? I am one of the 3 demon kings. If you win, I will be your servant. If you lose, I will kill you directly. Who told you to cut off one of my subordinates' legs? You should know that Azure Ox is my capable general. What you did is equivalent to slapping my face. The Vajra King was also eager to give it a try. Beside him, Mo-ing was completely speechless. This guy was a fighter. Every time he attacked a city, he would fight the experts of the sacred mountain one-on-one. This was not the first time. Mo-ing did not expect that he would bring himself out this time. Although Lin Fei's strength seemed somewhat mysterious, if something were to go wrong, the Vajra King would become Lin Fei's subordinate. Then, the 3 great Yao monarchs would become a joke. Vajra King, what time are we in now? Why are you still saying such things? Let's take down the sacred mountain first. Otherwise, let the sacred Lord open the ancestral sacred land. We don't have so much time to waste here. Long Qianzu snorted coldly and swept a cold gaze at the Vajra King. Long Qianzu wished he could capture the Vajra King and beat him up. Didn't he see that this was a critical moment? Isn't it just one of your subordinates' legs? Your old cow's strength is only SOSO. Without that leg, you can just slowly cultivate. As for fighting one-on-one with someone at this time, although Long Qianzu had the strength to take down the Vajra King, he would also have to pay a huge price. Moreover, there was also Mo-ing eyeing him covetously. Although the 3 demon kings seemed to be in an alliance, they all wanted to become the number 1 demon king and lead the forces of the other 2 demon kings. Naturally, Long Qianzu would not allow the Vajra King to suffer and let Mo-ing take advantage of him. The Vajra King said disapprovingly, I clearly distinguish between official and private matters. I will teach this kid a lesson in a minute. He even dared to cut off my subordinate. He clearly doesn't dare to give me the Vajra King face. The Vajra King was such an old-fashioned person. No one could change the fact that he had decided on. The Demon King of Heaven's End and the Demon King of Heaven's Eye were excited. They couldn't even block a few moves from the Vajra King and were immediately defeated. If the Vajra King had not shown mercy, they would have become corpses long ago. If Lin Fei fought the Vajra King, the outcome would be the same. He would definitely be defeated in less than 10 moves. They all had a deep understanding of this. The sacred leader also looked at Lin Fei. This matter was indeed difficult for him to deal with. Are you sure you want to be my subordinate after losing? However, a subordinate like you is not bad. With your 3 heads and 6 arms, you are very suitable to be a fighter. Moreover, you are a top fighter. Lin Fei smiled. This Vajra King was quite interesting. This showed how much confidence he had in his own strength. You're the first person who dares to talk to me like that. However, my 3 heads and 6 arms do indeed look very suitable to be a fighter. However, not everyone can have a fighter like me. It all depends on whether or not you have what it takes. If you don't, then you can only become a corpse, a nourishment for the divine dragon's secret land. I haven't met an expert with 3 heads and 6 arms in a long time. Coincidentally, my hands have been itching recently. Let's spar. Lin Fei looked at the sacred leader and said, "This is a personal matter of mine. Please open the barrier and let me fight with him. I also want to see the strength of the 3 demon kings in the divine dragon mysterious land. I want to see if they are as strong as they say." The sacred leader actually did not intend to let Lin Fei go because the Vajra King's strength was obvious to all. Moreover, the Vajra King had an innate mystique. This was his greatest trump card. Even the sacred leader had to be careful when fighting with the Vajra King. Now that Lin Fei was going to fight with the Vajra King, the sacred leader was indeed a little worried. In the end, the sacred leader agreed with Lin Fei. Bookseller's website. Chapter 4310. Vajra Monarch, this guy is always like this. What do you think we should do? This outsider, Lin Fei, seems to be quite capable. After Lin Fei came out, Mo Ying and Long Qinzu secretly conversed. What else can we do? As long as Vajra Monarch shows signs of defeat, we'll take down Lin Fei first. As long as we control this outsider and open the primogenitor's sacred ground, the sacred lord will have to ask us for help. These guys all have the divine dragon key, Long Qinzu said coldly. Mo Ying and Long Qinzu didn't want Vajra Monarch to take action, especially at a time like this. They didn't expect that Vajra Monarch would make a move first because of an old bull disrupting their rhythm. However, they didn't dare say anything. After all, Vajra Monarch was also a monster king, just like them. How many moves do you think Lin Fei will take? I bet he won't be able to block Vajra Monarch's attack in 5 moves. Heaven Eye Monarch and Heaven Absolute Demon King began to bet. 5 moves is too much for him. I think he'll lose in 3 moves. If you lose, you'll have to give me the elixir that Vajra Monarch bestowed. After Lin Fei came out, Vajra Monarch stared at Lin Fei. His eyes, which were as big as copper bells, flickered with a strange light. I heard from Heaven Eye Monarch and Heaven Absolute Demon King that your sword formation is very powerful. I'll cut to the chase. Take out your strongest sword formation and let me see if it can break my 3 heads and 6 arms. Vajra Monarch moved 3 of his heads and 6 of his arms. It's been a long time since I've experienced what it feels like to be injured. Even the sacred lord wouldn't be able to injure me. I heard that sword cultivators have always been very powerful, but you made me want to fight. Lin Fei could naturally tell that Vajra Monarch wasn't lying. Vajra Monarch was invulnerable. Furthermore, as a monster king, his body was naturally very strong. Ordinary people couldn't break it. Therefore, it was very difficult to injure him. Since you're a demon king, I'll definitely satisfy you. Besides, I'm also looking forward to my suggestion. Can it break open your three-headed, six-armed body? Lin Fei said casually. With a whoosh, a gust of wind blew over. An expression of the King Kong, who had been laughing loudly, changed slightly. Cracks appeared on his body. These cracks spread out and instantly turned into a huge spider web, exploding into bloody scars. Sword intent is like the wind. I didn't expect your sword intent to have reached such a level. You really live up to your reputation. You are indeed a legendary sword cultivator. My eyes have been opened. The Diamond King looked down at the interweaving cracks on his body and couldn't help but laugh out loud. Heaven, I Monarch, and Heaven and Demon King's hearts sank. Although they knew that Lin Fei was very strong, they didn't expect him to have mastered the sword essence to such an extent. His first attack was like the wind. Even they didn't feel it. If it was against them last time, they probably wouldn't even be able to block it. This guy was too cunning. But it's not enough. My body isn't as weak as you think. Vajra Monarch shook his head after laughing. Even so, the hearts of the people on the holy mountain sank. Everyone felt that it was unbelievable. Although everyone had heard of sword cultivators, they had never seen how powerful they were. Now, they finally saw that sword intent could be mastered to such an extent that it could really kill people without them noticing. I attacked once. Naturally, I'll wait for you to attack once. Otherwise, it would be a pity if I accidentally killed you. Lin Fei did attack just now. He used sword intent like the wind, and it gave Vajra Monarch an invisible blow. Vajra Monarch's body was also beyond Lin Fei's imagination. His current sword intent could basically reach the level of qi refinement. However, it only left the shallowest wound on his opponent's body. Although they formed a big net, no one really injured Vajra Monarch. This was also within Lin Fei's expectations. After all, this was a big ape in the Foundation establishment realm. At the same time, this guy had inherited a part of the Dragon God's strong defense. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so strong. Sacred Lord's expression was enough to know. 3 demon kings made him feel pressured. This couldn't be hidden from Lin Fei. You're quite an interesting person. Since you said so, I'll fulfill your wish. Take my attack first. It was rare for the King Kong to encounter such an expert swordsman. The swordsman had actually left such a wound on his body in just one move. It was no wonder that Old Cow's leg had been cut off in one move. Perhaps the swordsman had been merciful. Otherwise, Old Cow would have been dead. Old Ox, no, Green Ox, originally thought that King Vajra Monarch would be able to avenge him. At that moment, he gasped. This was too powerful. To be able to display sword will like the wind. If he were to make a move against him, wouldn't he become a piece of beef? It was too terrifying. Green Ox was so scared that he trembled. He silently took a few steps back. It seems that this guest from outer space, Lin Fei, is not simple. With such sword intent, Vajra Monarch probably won't be able to take him down. Long Qianzu's eyes turned cold, revealing a trace of seriousness. He is indeed quite strong. If he uses this kind of sword intent to deal with us monsters, I don't think many monsters can withstand it. Emoing nodded. Let's wait and see. If Vajra Monarch really can't take him down, let's attack together and kill him. Long Qianzu absolutely did not want anyone to appear and change the situation in the Divine Dragon's secret dimension. Under the joint attack of the 3 monster kings, no one could withstand it. Even the Sacred Lord had to rely on the Sacred Mountain's array. Otherwise, the Sacred Mountain would have been broken long ago. Vajra Monarch made his move. His entire body turned into an afterimage as he pounced forward. In everyone's eyes, Vajra Monarch seemed to have disappeared in an instant. He was too fast. Speed was naturally a big advantage for Vajra Monarch. As soon as Vajra Monarch pounced forward, his 6 arms slapped down like 6 afterimages, forming one afterimage after another. All three heads revealed smiles. As the palm shadows fell, the entire void seemed to be on the verge of exploding. The power of the six arms slapping down made everyone feel a terrifying aura. Vajra Monarch was worthy of being called Vajra Monarch. Just as the six arms were about to land on Lin Fei's body, a layer of ripples appeared, shining like flowing light. Vajra Monarch's six arms slapped the ripples, creating a loud rumbling sound. However, the ripples could not be torn apart. Chapter 43:11. The Vajra King was indeed very strong. His six arms slammed down, and almost all of them had the same amount of power. They were extremely penetrating. When this power surged out, the Vajra King felt as if his power had hit a piece of cotton. He could not use any power at all. You know how to use sword intent to defend? I didn't expect it to be so powerful. I wonder how many times you can block my attacks. The Vajra King's pupils shrank slightly, and his six arms moved again. Bam, 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 bam. Bang. Every hit was very rhythmic, and it actually formed a certain frequency. At that moment, the Vajra King had used a secret technique to make his power stronger. With the help of his six arms, his power was far greater than before. Lin Fei was still using his sword intent defense. The defense rippled. Even though it looked like it was about to break, it did not collapse. It was still intact. Don't worry. Take it slow. No one has been able to break my sword intent defense for a long time. If you can break it, then I'll consider you powerful. The corners of Lin Fei's mouth curled up slightly. He smiled and allowed the Vajra King to keep slamming down. However, he had to admit that the Vajra King was indeed very strong. The power of his six arms, especially after they formed a frequency, increased by 3 to 5 times. It could be said that each hit was fatal. A chi refinement expert would be killed in one hit. Moreover, they would die without a complete corpse. I don't believe that your broken sword intent defense can withstand me for that long. The Vajra King had encountered all kinds of opponents. He had even killed many defense experts that he was proud of. Sword cultivators were just famous. The Vajra King did not believe that this person's body could withstand his attacks. The Vajra King's power had a very strong penetrative and destructive power. Bang, 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 bang. No one knew how long the Vajra King had been attacking. Every slap seemed to have landed on everyone's hearts. After a long time, everyone's faces turned pale. Only the Vajra King could attack at such a high frequency. Vajra King has met his match this time. It looks like we should take action. That kid's sword intent defense is truly unparalleled. Even Vajra King can't break through it. Mo Ying shook his head. He was not optimistic about Vajra King. I think so too. This kid is really something. No wonder he was able to enter our divine dragon's secret realm. After the two of them looked at each other, they immediately made their move. Mo Ying's speed was the fastest. He directly rushed in front of Lin Fei. An overbearing mental attack directly enveloped Lin Fei's body. The spirit was so strong that even Lin Fei's body shook a little before he recovered. Is this the power of the Spectre Demon King of the 3 great demon kings? It's actually a spiritual force expert. No wonder this spiritual force can bewitch Xiantian masters and Qi cultivating masters. It's really powerful. I can even feel the scent of divine sense in it. While Lin Fei was momentarily dazed, Long Qinzu attacked. His speed was no slower than Vajra King's. 18 arms attacked in an instant. Compared to Vajra King's 6 arms, Long Qinzu's 18 arms were even more ferocious. Moreover, each arm was armed with a weapon. When those weapons smashed down at the same time, it was terrifying. Bang, bang, bang. Under the attack of the 18 arms, Lin Fei's sword intent defense instantly collapsed, one layer after another. At first, Long Qinzu had a smile on his face, but in the blink of an eye his expression changed to one of surprise. The sword-will defenses were so tight that not even wind could pass through them. Layer after layer, they continuously drained the power of Long Qianzu's 18 arms. In the end, all of his power was gone. Dragon Qianzu, what is the meaning of this? When did I ask you to help me? Vajra King was furious. What he hated the most was letting others interfere in his battle. It didn't matter who it was. As long as they interfered, he would feel very unhappy. Vajra King, didn't you see this kid's sword-intent defense? You think you can break it with brute force? You're dreaming. Didn't you see that the power of my 18 arms was neutralized by him? Do you think you can defeat him? Long Qianzu scolded. Vajra King was getting angry. After all, the opponent's sword-intent defense was like a turtle shell. His 6 arms couldn't break it. Seeing Long Qianzu's 18 arms unable to deal with the opponent, Vajra King realized that he had underestimated the kid. He didn't expect this outsider to be so powerful. No wonder heaven, I'm monarch and demon king, heavens, and hated this kid so much. They must have suffered a lot at the hands of this kid. One Yao King couldn't beat him, so the other 2 Yao Kings attacked. In that case, I won't hold back. Courtesy demands reciprocation. I'll give you myriad swords converge. As soon as he finished speaking, a sky full of sword shadows appeared, instantly causing the expressions of the 3 monster kings to change, and they retreated one after another. No one knew how the sword images appeared. By the time the 3 Yao Kings realized it, the sword images had already enveloped them. In just one exchange, they had suffered countless sword-intent attacks. In any case, they were densely packed. Myriad swords converge. This is the true myriad swords converge. Where did this kid come from? He even has my Sky Sword Mountain's absolute art. On another wall, when Sky Sword Mountain's Jin Yuanqing saw this scene, he couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. He was so scared that he started shivering. Now, Jin Yuanqing was even more suspicious of Lin Fei's identity. Could he really be an expert from Sky Sword Mountain? Otherwise, how could he control his sword intent so well? Ordinary people wouldn't be able to do that. If Lin Fei really came from Sky Sword Mountain, their Sky Sword Mountain would become famous. No, they would have the chance to unify the entire Kunlun Mystery Land. After the myriad swords converge, the 3 Yao Kings appeared to be in a sorry state. However, they didn't seem to be seriously injured. Vajra King, your helper has appeared. Are you willing to admit defeat now? I am in need of a gold medal fighter like you. Lin Fei smiled as he looked at Vajra King. Vajra King's face turned pale. He had actually lost. He couldn't do anything to Wang Xian's tortoiseshell. Wang Xian's attacks were very powerful. Even though he was a Yao King, his body was riddled with bloody holes. Let's just attack the city. Let's take down the sacred mountain first. Vajra King pretended to be confused. Long Qianzu and Mo Ying no longer dared to look down on Lin Fei. Wang Xian already had the strength to threaten them. Attack the city. After the 3 Yao Kings retreated, they immediately gave the order. You guys, as Yao Kings, your face is too worthless. You actually don't want to admit defeat. Miaoshu House, Chapter 40, 312. The Vajra King was indeed shameless. In any case, he had already lost. Did he really want to become the opponent's golden fighter? You're thinking too much. Destroy the sacred mountain first. You must have heard wrongly. I, the Vajra King, have always been a man of my words. Since when did I say something like that? On account of your decent cultivation, go as far as you can. Don't get involved in this matter. The Vajra King would never admit that he had lost. Was the Demon King's face not a face? With a command, the tide-like demonic beast army attacked. The sacred mountain's barrier was activated. A series of ripples appeared. The demonic beasts were stopped. The sacred lord's face turned solemn. Among the demonic beast army, he saw a few special demonic beasts. These demonic beasts were huge in size and were pushed over by the demonic beasts. They were like war machines. You guys have actually cultivated such special demonic beasts. No wonder you guys are so confident in destroying the sacred mountain. The sacred lord also recognized these special demonic beasts. Because these special demonic beasts were used to destroy arrays, their venom had a special corrosive effect. Therefore, these demonic beasts were feared on the battlefield. Of course, their effects were also very good. These huge, disc-like demonic beasts were called formation exterminator beasts. Countless nozzles on their backs sprayed green venom at the barrier. When the venom landed on the barrier, sizzling sounds could be heard. Then a hole appeared on the barrier. These holes weren't very eye-catching at first, but as the number of poisonous creatures increased, the holes continued to connect, forming huge holes. These demonic beasts also began to enter through these holes. Hurry up and kill these demonic beasts. We must not let them in. Kill the demonic beasts. The people below the city also came out one by one. 3 in groups, 5 in groups, besieging the demonic beasts. Fortunately, not many demonic beasts came in, but the scene was still very intense. Demonic beasts were constantly dying. More and more people joined the battle. The strength of the demonic beasts also increased. In the end, even Xiantian realm experts joined in. Sacred Lord, I don't know if your holy mountain can withstand the attack of our demonic beasts. Hurry up and open the primogenitor sacred ground. Otherwise, your holy mountain will be littered with corpses. Long Qianzu coldly said. The strongest of the 3 demon monarchs wasn't idle either. Although he was staring at the sacred leader, he was also staring at Lin Fei, the visitor from outer space. He had to guard against the strength of this sword cultivator. If he joined hands with the Holy Lord, it would be troublesome. Even if he had 18 arms, it would still be difficult for him to deal with them. You want me to open the primogenitor sacred land? You have to fight me first. Sacred leader was a hot-tempered man. He led the 18 black-armored men and charged forward. As soon as these 18 armored people rushed out, they directly killed their way into the demonic beast army. In an instant, countless demonic beasts were sent flying and fell to the ground, becoming corpses. All of a sudden, the pressure on the people of the Holy Mountain was relieved. The Sacred Master and Long Qianzu were also fighting. The sacred leader did not use martial arts, but pure spells. One after another, spells attacked Long Qianzu. Sacred leader's spells were not simple. They were wind-type spells. Wind blades constantly attacked Long Qianzu from all directions, making it impossible for Long Qianzu to escape. Even if Long Qianzu managed to break free, the wind-type spells would immediately trap him. He simply could not get close to the sacred leader. It was impossible for him to cause any damage. Sacred leader, your wind-type spells are still the same. However, do you really think that you can stop me by relying on wind-type spells? Long Qianzu laughed. He took out a bead with one of his arms. As soon as the bead appeared, it shone brightly. The wind-type spells that were attacking Long Qianzu were stopped by the bead. They simply could not land on Long Qianzu's body. Do you see this? This is the air-frozen bead that I obtained with great difficulty. It is specially used to break your wind-type spells. I don't know if you still have any way to stop me now. Long Qianzu laughed heartily and rushed forward. His 18 arms directly attacked. In an instant, the attacks landed on the sacred leader. Even if the sacred leader had arranged a wind-type defensive spell in the first place, he was still sent flying by the 18 arms. This is only the first gift. The best part is yet to come. After the sacred leader was sent flying, the 18 black-armored puppets flew up and formed a barrier in front of him. These puppets helped you a lot last time. However, it won't be so easy this time. Long Qianzu took out another treasure. It was a flute. He blew it with a whistling sound. As soon as the flute was blown, the strange sound fell on the bodies of the 18 armored puppets. The 18 armored puppets immediately changed direction and attacked the sacred leader. Don't think that I don't know that you brought these 18 armored puppets from the ancestral sacred land. However, I'm not stupid. I found a way to restrain them. I wonder what kind of gift I have. Long Qianzu used 2 treasures to greatly reduce the strength of the sacred leader. His wind-type spells were suppressed, and the 18 armored puppets were no longer under his control. Lin Fei was a little surprised. Even the most powerful technique of the sacred leader was restrained by Long Qianzu. The treasures they took out were also unusual. Outsiders might not be able to tell, but Lin Fei could see it clearly. They were clearly magic artifacts. He was even more curious about the ancestral sacred land. It seemed that there should be a lot of good stuff in the ancestral sacred land. He could go in and plunder it. The changes of the 18 black-armored puppets made the sacred leader flustered. After all, the combat strength of these 18 black-armored puppets was extraordinary. Coupled with Long Qianzu's attack, the pressure on the sacred leader multiplied. He had really underestimated Long Qianzu's calculations. To think that the sacred leader would even take out these 2 treasures. It was enough to restrain the sacred leader's strength. 18 levels of hell. Long Qianzu suddenly burst into laughter. His 18 arms formed seals and unleashed a powerful killer move. A killer move filled with death aura struck the sacred leader. The attack sent sacred leader flying. This time his injuries were even more serious than before. You actually cultivated to the 18 levels of hell. Your combat strength instantly soared by more than 50 times. The sacred leader spat out a mouthful of blood and looked at Long Qianzu with fear. The Vajra King and Demon Shadow also frowned. They recognized this killer move as one of Long Qianzu's super secret arts. It could instantly unleash 50 times its original power. It could be said that whoever it hit would be destroyed. It was very difficult to cultivate. It was also a very powerful killer move. Even the 2 of them did not dare to face it head-on. It was said that this was a secret technique unique to the Dragon Clan. Bookseller's website. Chapter 40, 313. The moment Long Qianzu used his trump card, the sacred leader could no longer block it. His entire body was smashed into the ground, causing the entire sacred mountain to tremble. The might of a demon king was terrifying. Anyone who faced Long Qianzu's move would feel its power. If anyone were to face them, they would be killed in an instant. It would even be very normal for them to be beaten to the ground. The Titan King and Mo Ing looked at each other with a hint of fear in their eyes. Although they had been working together to guard against Long Qianzu, they hadn't expected him to succeed in cultivating the 18 levels of hell. The power of one move increased by 50 times. That would definitely kill them. The 3 Demon Kings worked together to fight for the title of number 1 Demon King, and Long Qianzu seemed to have taken that step. Long Qianzu might have used this move to deal with the sacred leader, but it was actually a warning to King Kong and Demonic Shadow. See that? I've cultivated the 18 levels of hell and can unleash 50 times the power. If you know what's good for you, submit to me and admit that I'm the number 1 Demon King. I'll take you to eat and drink. If you don't know what's good for you, I'll either kill you or subdue you. It's that simple. Sacred leader, how does my move taste? If you're still not satisfied, I can give you another buy one get one free deal. After all, there are only a handful of people in the entire divine Dragon Secret Land who can block this move of mine. Long Qianzu laughed heartily. Without another word, he unleashed the 18 levels of hell again. The power of 50 times erupted and blasted down. The sacred leader, who had been lying in the ground, was in tatters. That move had directly pierced through his defenses, and even his physical body had been severely injured. Seeing Long Qianzu attack again, despair filled his face. He hadn't expected Long Chenzu's strength to surpass him so quickly, and the treasure in his hand could suppress his strength. Splash, 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 splash. Just as the sacred leader was in despair, a stream of water appeared in front of him, blocking the attack for him. The stream of water was formed by sword intent. Facing Long Chenzu's 18 levels of hell, it sank slightly before returning to normal, losing more than half of its power. "It's you, kid. Are you courting death? How dare you help the sacred leader?" The moment the sword intent appeared, Long Chenzu immediately knew who the culprit was. It was Lin Fei, the visitor from outer space. More importantly, the other party's sword intent could actually withstand 50 times his attack. This was what made Long Chenzu feel dissatisfied. This kid was much stronger than he had imagined. Long Chenzu didn't know when the sword intent had appeared. In any case, when it appeared, it had already blocked his 18 levels of hell. "Then, I wonder how many layers of my attacks your sword intent defense can withstand." There was a loud noise. All of a sudden, 18 attacks erupted from the 18 levels of hell, one after another. It turned out that Long Chenzu had once again used a secret technique. There were actually 18 levels of attacks hidden within the 18 levels of hell. Layers upon layers of hell appeared, and an attack landed directly on the sword will's defense. No matter who it was, that scene would cause their hearts to sink. Long Chenzu's strength had already reached such a level. If it was a one-on-one fight, no one in the entire divine dragon arcane realm would be a match for him. The strength of the 18 levels of hell was terrifying. However, the sword will was as steady as flowing water, withstanding 18 attacks without making a sound. Your 18 levels of hell are not bad. However, my sword will's defense isn't bad either. Why don't we call it quits for today? Why don't we sit down and have a chat instead of fighting to the death? I'm not interested in the divine dragon arcane realm. I'm just here to visit, and I'm interested in the ancestor. If you want to continue fighting, why don't you play with me?" Lin Fei smiled at Long Chenzu. He didn't retract the sword will's defense. Of course, Lin Fei wouldn't watch Long Chenzu kill the sacred leader. He felt that if Long Chenzu killed the sacred leader, it might be impossible for him to visit the ancestor. However, he had to admit that Long Chenzu was indeed the strongest among the 3 demon kings. If it weren't for Lin Fei's recovery, he wouldn't have been able to withstand the attack of the 18 levels of hell. After all, it was a 50-fold attack. A demon king was already so powerful. Another 50-fold attack wouldn't be a joke. The dragon, 1,000 feet demon king frowned. He knew that it was impossible to kill the Holy Lord. This outsider was really a troublemaker. In the beginning, King Kong had offended this kid. Otherwise, he could have roped him in. However, it seemed like it would be difficult now. A boorish man will always be a boorish man. He only knows how to mess things up. Sooner or later, I'll deal with this King Kong. Long Chenzu laughed. Actually, I've never thought of killing the sacred leader. After all, he's the controller of the sacred mountain. If I kill him, who will bring us into the ancestors' forbidden zone? Everyone despised Long Chenzu's hypocritical behavior. He obviously couldn't wait to kill the sacred leader. How could he put on such a sanctimonious act? As for Long Chenzu and Lin Fei fighting, it was impossible. "Then let's sit down and have a chat." Long Chenzu returned to his original position. All the demonic beasts gave up on attacking and retreated like a receding tide. Even so, the air was still filled with the smell of blood. The sacred leader mocked himself. He flew out of the ground with wounds all over his body. He quickly took out a medicinal pill and swallowed it. Many thanks for Brother Lin's help. Otherwise, this old life of mine would be gone. The sacred leader smiled bitterly. Even a horse will stumble, let alone a human. As long as you're alive, nothing will be a problem. Brother Long, I think you should have attacked just now. With your 18 layers of hell, You can definitely break that kid's sword intent defense. At that time, I'll join hands with Mo Ing and we'll definitely be able to kill that kid. I feel that kid will always be a scourge here. King Kong instigated Long Chenzu the moment he returned. Mo Ing followed. I feel that that was the best opportunity. Even if we can't kill that Lin Fei, we can still kill the sacred leader. Long Chenzu coldly looked at them. If it's that easy to deal with, then the two of you can go. I'll hold them back from behind. As long as you can kill the sacred leader or Lin Fei, then you can become the #1 Demon King. I, Long Chenzu, will submit to you and won't have any other opinions. King Kong and Mo Ing laughed dryly. They really didn't dare to do that. Then we'll slowly discuss it. We still have time. Let's see what the sacred leader has to say. Chapter 43:14. A battle had ended without a trace, just like that. The people of Sacred Mountain heaved a sigh of relief. After all, there were so many monsters. If they really fought to the end, it was unknown how many of them would survive. There were simply too many monsters attacking the city, so many that they felt their scalps go numb. Everyone looked at the extraterrestrial guests with gratitude. The Poison King and 3 Stones Divine King looked at each other and heaved a sigh of relief. They really didn't want to fight these monsters. They were just too difficult to deal with. There is no need to mention the 3 Monster Kings, especially the Dragon 1,000 Feet Monster King, whose strength was unfathomable. Even the Holy Lord was tricked by him. If it wasn't for Lin Fei, the Dragon 1,000 Feet Monster King would probably be dead now. The place to talk was even simpler. They found a place with no one around. It wasn't far from Sacred Mountain. Our opinion is that you open the primogenitor's tomb and we'll go in. It's that simple. If you don't agree, we'll continue attacking, Long Chenzu said coldly. If you don't open it, we'll continue attacking the city. We monsters reproduce quickly and aren't afraid of exhaustion. But it's different for you guys. It won't be that easy to replenish your numbers. King Kong chuckled. Sacred Lord's face darkened. In this aspect, they really couldn't compare to monsters. That was why Sacred Mountain's strength had been affected all these years. Then, do you know what will happen after you open the primogenitor's tomb? Even I don't dare to guess. The primogenitor is already dead. He's probably turned to ashes. Do you think he can trick us? We 3 Demon Kings aren't afraid. As long as you open the primogenitor's tomb, we'll dare to enter. Long Chenzu really wasn't afraid of the primogenitor. He was already dead. At most, he would leave behind some legends. Lin Fei listened quietly. Currently, the only thing in the entire Draconic Arcane realm that Lin Fei cared about was the primogenitor's forbidden zone. Sacred Lord, if you can open it, then open it. They're courting death anyway. They can't blame anyone else, Lin Fei said with a smile. The Sacred Lord hesitated for a moment before saying, All right, then I'll bring you into the primogenitor's forbidden zone. If you die in there, don't blame me. I'm the one who warned you. The sacred leader was also rather helpless. If he didn't bring them in, they would definitely continue to attack the Sacred Mountain, and the Sacred Mountain would suffer heavy losses. If you want to enter the primogenitor's forbidden zone, you'll need to gather all 10 dragon keys, Sacred Lord said. Isn't it just 10 keys? That's easy. Just mobilize our men, and we'll be able to find them in no time. Long Chenzu said nonchalantly. It was not difficult to gather 10 divine dragon keys. After spending nearly 6 days, he finally gathered all 10 keys. This time was still far beyond his expectations. Sacred Mountain had returned to its usual liveliness, but there was still a somewhat depressing atmosphere in the city because the demon beasts stationed outside had not retreated. The sacred leader led the group to the center of the Sacred Mountain. The center of the Sacred Mountain was a completely different world. It was a huge natural cave. By chiseling on the natural cave, another part of the Sacred Mountain was formed. They walked down the Sacred Mountain. Soon, they arrived at the underground world. A terrifying, depressing aura swept over them. This is formed by the aura left behind by the primogenita, the sacred leader said. As expected of the sacred leader, I didn't expect the aura left behind after his death to be so huge. It can even form a sinister wind. The strength of this sinister wind isn't weak, almost comparable to the Sciention realm. No wonder it's called a forbidden zone. Doesn't this mean that the deeper we go, the stronger the sinister wind gets? The Vajra king laughed loudly, allowing the sinister wind to hit his body. He was unharmed. The forbidden zone left behind by the primogenitor isn't as simple as you think. The sacred leader didn't dare to be careless. He cast a spell in front of him, forming a layer of defense to resist the attack of the sinister wind. The sacred leader's careful actions made the three demon kings even more disdainful. They didn't stop mocking and ridiculing him along the way. There weren't many people who came down this time. There were 4 demon kings, 3 demon kings, Sacred Lord and Lin Fei, and the rest. There were about 20 people in total. As they went deeper, the strength of the sinister wind grew. Everyone put up their defenses. However, the 3 demon kings clearly didn't think much of the sinister wind. They continued to resist it, unmoving like a mountain. Looks like the sinister wind here isn't as strong as I imagined. The Vajra king patted his body. They walked for 3 hours. Dragon, 1,000 feet demon king, asked why they didn't fly over. In the end, the sacred leader replied coldly, "There's a spatial tear here. If you have the guts, you can try flying over." With that, the 3 demon kings didn't dare to move. Originally, everyone was very casual. However, after the sacred leader said that, they became more cautious. This was a void tier. If he were to fall into it, who knew where he would run off to? The biggest possibility was that he would die within the void. Even though the demon kings were strong, they would still die in the void. They rested once along the way. After walking for nearly half a day, finally, a huge ancient tomb appeared in front of them. This ancient tomb was built entirely out of black rocks. Of course, the most shocking thing was that there were statues placed in front of the ancient tomb. These statues weren't real statues. They were ice sculptures. No one could imagine that there would be ice sculptures in the depths of the earth. There are people in the ice sculptures. These are all living people sealed in ice. It's too scary. It's really too scary. He was killed in one move. When everyone got closer, the sinister wind was even colder. Its strength was at the pinnacle of the inborn realm. However, these ice sculptures still made everyone gasp in shock. These are experts from our sky, Sword Mountain. Why are they here? Jin Yuancheng resisted the sinister wind. However, he was shocked too because he saw the experts from Sky, Sword Mountain. Their attire was very obvious. It was hard not to see them. Poison King, Stone God King, and the others were also moved because they also saw a few familiar figures. After all, they had families backing them. Naturally, they knew some things. Therefore, when they saw the ice sculptures, they were shocked. They didn't expect that the people they couldn't find would die in the draconic arcane realm and become ice sculptures. These people have been dead here for a long time. I advise everyone not to touch these ice sculptures because they contain a terrifying chill. If you touch them, they might fall onto your body and turn you into a new ice sculpture. Holy Master reminded them. That's right. Holy Master. Holy Master. He waved his wind spells, and countless wind blades flew forward. However, in the blink of an eye, these wind blades were frozen in midair. This is the first test in the ancient tomb. Chapter 40, 3:15. The fact that spells could be frozen by this chilling wind made everyone secretly take a deep breath. It could be seen that this chilling wind was extraordinary. I've brought the place to everyone. You can enter the ancient tomb after passing the first stage of the sinister wind, Sacred Leader said coldly. Looking at the ice sculptures in front of them, no one dared to be careless. The wind blades that Sacred Leader used were pure energy attacks. They didn't expect that they would be frozen by the sinister wind. I, King Kong, have thick skin and flesh. Let me go in first and see how strong this sinister wind is. King Kong snorted coldly as he grabbed one of his subordinates and threw him in. Whoosh! Everyone heard the sound of something freezing. They saw that the demonic beast that was thrown out was frozen into an ice sculpture and fell to the ground. They didn't even have time to breathe. What a terrifying, sinister wind. My subordinate is at the peak of the Inborn realm, but he couldn't even block it. Why did the ancestor leave such a sinister wind here? King Kong cursed. Heaven, I monarch and demon king, Tianjue gasped. They were standing closer to King Kong and took a step back. He silently took a step back. If he had been thrown in just now, he would have been frozen into an ice sculpture. It didn't feel good to be killed in an instant. They really wanted to leave immediately. They didn't want to go to the ancestors' ancient tomb anymore. It was simply a matter of life and death. They didn't dare to move now. If they moved, King Kong definitely wouldn't mind throwing them in. This sinister wind is quite strong, but since the ancestor left it here, there should be a way to enter. Long Qianzu looked at Sacred Leader. What do you think, Sacred Leader? I think it's better for you to tell us the secret. Anyway, everyone is going to enter the ancestors' ancient tomb. You can't hide the secret in your heart. I didn't expect you to know so much. You actually know the secret of this sinister wind. Sacred Leader smiled wryly. I specialize in researching the primogenitor's ancient tomb. Although there aren't many words left behind, I more or less know that since the primogenitor laid down such a killing formation, there must be a way to break it. It's impossible for him to stop everyone from entering. What do you think, Holy Lord? I advise you not to hide your thoughts and speak them out openly. Long Qianzu said with a proud expression. This sacred lord is a little dishonest. A thought popped into Lin Fei's mind. At first, he thought that this sacred leader was normal, but now it seemed that this sacred leader had a lot of secrets. Actually, it's not that hard to enter the ancient tomb. Do you see these ice sculptures? Don't look down on them just because they've been frozen for a long time. As long as everyone sprinkles their blood on them, they'll be able to activate the people inside the ice sculptures. As long as they're killed, they'll naturally be blessed and enter the ancient tomb. Otherwise, no one will be able to pass through. King Kong laughed. I knew there must be a trick to this place. I didn't expect it to be like this. Doesn't that mean that the people inside the ice sculptures have a certain amount of combat power? That's just right. I, King Kong, will be the first to fight them. This time, King Kong didn't grab his subordinates. Instead, he slid his hand and cut open his arm. His blood sprinkled on the nearest ice sculpture. Then, an incredible scene appeared. After King Kong's blood sprinkled on the ice sculpture, a crashing sound could be heard. The ice sculpture completely melted. The figure inside the ice sculpture suddenly opened its eyes. The eyes were cold and emotionless. They didn't carry a trace of aura. The figure instantly attacked King Kong. A corpse that has been dead for God knows how long. Do you think I'm afraid of you? The Vodra King's 6 arms smashed down heavily and sent the puppet flying. Trash that can't even withstand a single blow. King Kong pounced forward again. His 6 arms fiercely smashed down. This time, the chilling winds didn't take the initiative to attack him. Instead, they let him deal with the ice sculpture. After a few rounds, the ice sculpture was smashed into pieces by King Kong. Sacred Leader, your secret is really useful. The chilling winds didn't attack me. Ha 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 ha. I'll be going first. The Vajra King laughed heartily and strode forward. Long Qianzu and Mo Ing exchanged glances. They gritted their teeth in hatred. King Kong was 1 step ahead of them. With that guy's temper, he would definitely sweep everything in his way. Long Qianzu and Mo Ing didn't hesitate. They also sprinkled their blood on the ice sculptures. However, the ice sculptures activated by the two seemed to be quite strong. It took King Kong a lot of effort to kill them. Then, King Kong calmly chased after them. "Aren't you going in?" Lin Fei asked with a smile. "If I don't go in, the 3 Yao Kings will take away all the items inside. If that happens, your holy mountain will have a hard time in the future. I'm just letting the 3 Yao Kings scout ahead. If there are any dangers, let them deal with them first. If we go after them, we can avoid a lot of trouble," Sacred Leader said. After the 3 Yao Kings killed the ice sculptures, the other 4 Yao Kings did not hesitate. One by one, they followed suit. Needless to say, there were strong and weak ice sculptures. If they were lucky, they would encounter some weaker ones. If they were unlucky, they would encounter some stronger ones. After the 3 Yao Kings entered, the other 4 Yao Kings followed suit. This process didn't take too long. "Brother Lin, aren't you going in? I heard that there are many good items inside. We can't let the Yao Kings snatch them away. No matter what, they will fall into our hands. When the time comes, we will have to trouble you, Brother Lin, to help us," Sacred Leader said with a look of anticipation. "You've never gone in before?" Lin Fei asked curiously. "Don't mention it. It's very dangerous inside. I don't dare to go there a second time. Luckily, there are 3 Yao Kings leading the way this time. We can avoid a lot of danger." Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan were both looking forward to it. After all, this was the primogenitor's ancient tomb. Even people from the Kunlun mystery realm were looking for these primogenitor's ancient tombs. They didn't expect that there would be one in the divine dragon mystery realm. Without any hesitation, everyone activated the ice sculptures. For a moment, everyone was fighting with the ice sculptures. The ice sculpture that Lin Fei encountered was very simple. It was cut into 2 by his sword intent. The others didn't have it so easy. Some of them were heavily injured by the ice sculptures. Luckily, they didn't die and stayed outside. They couldn't wait and followed in. After passing through a large area of ice sculptures, a large door appeared. At this moment, the door had already been pushed open. "Ha ha ha ha, there's actually a treasure inside. This treasure is mine." Chapter 43:16. This was the voice of King Kong. He sounded extremely excited and ecstatic. His voice was also much louder than usual. After that, the sounds of fighting could be heard. Hearing the word magic treasure, many people were moved. Some of these people were natives of the divine dragon mystic realm, while some were experts of the Kunlun mystic realm. Naturally, they knew that magic treasures were above magic weapons. Usually, it was hard to even see a magic weapon, let alone a magic treasure. If one could refine a magic treasure, they would truly be invincible. Everyone surged in like a tidal wave. The calmest person present was Lin Fei. Magic treasures were powerful things. However, in Lin Fei's eyes, they were nothing much. In the face of true strength, even a magic treasure could be destroyed. Moreover, the magic treasures in this ancient tomb were probably not of good quality. When everyone entered the ancient tomb, they realized that it was extremely huge and spacious. However, at this moment, the 3 demon kings of King Kong were fighting over the magic treasures. It turned out that at the end of the ancient tomb, there was a stairway to heaven. There were treasures hanging on both sides of the stairway. At the top of the stairway to heaven, there was a stone coffin with a treasure floating above it. There are magic weapons and magic treasures hanging there. Haha, the founder is such a good person. He actually left behind magic weapons and magic treasures. As long as I can get my hands on any one of them, my strength will improve tremendously. By then, I will be invincible among those of the same cultivation level. The heavens have eyes. To think that I would be able to see magic weapons and magic treasures in my lifetime. Without any hesitation, everyone rushed towards the treasures. Just like that, a fight began. No matter who it was, they all hoped to get their hands on magic weapons and magic treasures. Even if they could not get a magic treasure, they would at least get a magic weapon. Otherwise, they would have made a wasted trip. "Young Master Lin, Are those really magic weapons and magic treasures? Yi Zixuan did not go for the magic weapons and magic treasures. She knew that she would only be sending herself to death if she went up. Yes, these are indeed magic artifacts and magic treasures. However, their quality should be very ordinary. However, with them, one's strength will increase by a lot. Basically, those without magic artifacts and magic treasures are no match for them. Lin Fei smiled. At a glance, Lin Fei could tell that these magic tools and magic treasures were indeed very ordinary. For these people, these magic tools and magic treasures were top-notch items. The magic treasures that the 3 demon kings were fighting over seemed to be of decent quality. Now they were fighting fiercely. No one could snatch it away. And at that moment, even the Holy Master made his move. He actually wanted to fight for the treasure as well. It's rare for us to come to the divine dragon enigmatic realm, and we've even come to the ancestral cemetery. We have to bring something back, no matter what. I'm in a good mood today, so I'll give you a ritual implement. Yi Zixuan suspected that she had heard wrongly, but there are so many people. Don't worry, I'm here. If we don't snatch it now, we probably won't have the time later. Yi Zixuan didn't understand. Could it be that something was going to happen here? No matter what, Yi Zixuan was still very tempted by magic tools. Lin Fei led Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan towards the sky stairway. The treasures on both sides of the heaven stairway were wrapped in a special power, so they had to break the power seal in order to take out the things inside. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Lin Fei's sword will crash into these experts like flowing water. Those who could fight for the magic tools here were basically at the peak of the innate stage. After all, it wasn't that easy to step into the Qi cultivation realm. The sword will directly crash into these experts like flowing water. Yi Xian and Lin Fei didn't kill them. They just chased them away. When these innate stage experts felt the sword that was like flowing water, they were so scared that their scalps went numb. They didn't even have time to react before they were sent flying. They only breathed a sigh of relief after they landed on the ground. Their bodies were numb, but they were glad that they survived. When they saw that the person from beyond the sky, Lin Fei, made a move, everyone didn't have any more thoughts and quickly retreated to the side. This flying sword artifact should be all right for you. But when you step into the Qi cultivation realm, you can use this artifact again. Its power will be even greater. Lin Fei's sword will broke through the defense and swept away the flying sword. He took it down and casually threw it to Yi Zixuan. The quality of these magic tools was indeed very average. The crafting method was very crude, but it was better than nothing. Lin Fei decided to pack all of these magic tools back and give one to each of his innate stage subordinates to increase their strength. If Lin Fei were to craft them, it would be too degrading. He wasn't interested. The sword will open up a path like flowing water. No one could stop it. One by one, the magic tools were easily collected by Lin Fei. Yi Xian and Yi Zixuan, who were following behind, felt like they were dreaming. It was actually so easy and simple. The 4 kings in the distance also grabbed a magic tool. But when they turned around and saw Lin Fei's method, they felt that the magic tools in their hands weren't good at all. You're all great experts. Why fight with us over magic tools? Can't you at least leave one for us? If you take all of them like this, we'll have wasted this trip. Our hearts were already thumping in fear. At least take a magic tool to comfort us. That was what they thought. But no one dared to stand out and say anything. They were really afraid. He could only watch helplessly as Lin Fei took away all the treasures. Lin Fei actually managed to collect more than 20 Dharma artifacts in total. It could be said that he took all the magic tools here in one fell swoop. The 3 great Yao kings were fighting over the magic treasures and were in a heated battle. With the addition of the Sacred Lord, it became very lively. Young Master Lin, are you not tempted by the magic tools? Are you not planning to make a move? Yi Zixuan asked curiously. Lin Fei chuckled. If it's just this magic tool, then forget it. I'm not interested at all. Moreover, do you really think this magic tool is a magic tool? After taking the magic tools, Lin Fei didn't go up again. He didn't look at the stone coffin. Instead, he returned to the empty space below. Ha 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 ha. I finally managed to snatch this magic tool. If I'm not wrong, this magic tool is the 7-colored, glazed pagoda left behind by the primogenitor. Long Chenzu laughed. Using his 18 arms and his strong fleshly body, he used the 18 levels of hell to send the 2 monster kings and the Holy Lord flying. One of his arms carried a glazed pagoda. It shone brightly and was very dazzling. One look, and anyone could tell that it wasn't an ordinary item. When the Vajra King and Demonic Shadow saw the glazed pagoda, their hearts sank. Their strongest magic tool had been snatched away by Long Chenzu. Damn it, this is really too damn it. After Long Chenzu obtained this magic tool, they were no longer a match for him. He could easily suppress them with a magic tool. Vajra King, Holy Lord, Demonic Shadow, are you guys convinced? And you, the visitor from outer space, Lin Fei. At this moment, Long Chenzu was in high spirits. Chapter 40, 317. At that very moment, Long Chenzu felt invincible. With the 7-colored, glazed pagoda in hand, he would have the strongest magic treasure. Although Long Chenzu was one of the Yao Kings in the Divine Dragon Secret Dimension, he was not the strongest Yao King. That was because he was still incapable of suppressing the other 2 Yao Kings. But now he could finally do it. He spat out a mouthful of blood essence onto the 7-colored, glazed pagoda. Then he used a secret technique to control the 7-colored, glazed pagoda. In an instant, the magic treasure floated above Long Chenzu's head. Long Chenzu, to think that you would secretly learn a secret technique to refine magic treasures. You sure hit it well. Looks like you took all the items from the pocket dimension back then. King Vajra swore loudly. Damned monkey! There is no one more stupid than you. Last time, when we went to the pocket dimension, I used you as a blade. How could you have imagined that all the good items there would be swept away by me? As for this treasure used to refine magic treasures, I obtained it from that pocket dimension. Don't you feel envious? A pity you don't have the life to do so. Chin Feng laughed coldly. Swoosh! The 7-colored, glazed pagoda smashed down. King Kong raised his 6 arms, and a loud rumbling sound rang out. In an instant he was smashed into the ground. Didn't you claim to be strong? In front of my 7-colored, glazed pagoda, you are nothing. Long Chenzu's gaze swept towards Emoing. The 7-colored, glazed pagoda moved again and smashed down. Another loud rumbling sound rang out as Emoing was smashed into the ground as well. Trash! Trash that can't even withstand a single blow. Long Chenzu laughed. Sacred Master, are you going to submit or resist? I only want one thing from you. From obtaining the 7-colored, glazed pagoda to refining it, to defeating King Kong and Emoing, everything had happened too quickly. It was so fast that no one could react in time. Instead, they were filled with fear and unease. Long Chenzu was already very strong to begin with. Now that he had this magic treasure, his strength could not be underestimated. King Kong and Emoing were smashed down in an instant. If it had been them, they would have died without a doubt. You want me to submit? You need to have the strength to do so. Sacred Master had no intention of submitting. Then I will fulfill your wish. The 7-colored, glazed pagoda descended once again. You can obtain a magic treasure. But do you think I, the Holy Lord, don't have a magic treasure? The Sacred Lord snorted coldly and took out a magic treasure. It was a pearl the size of a fist. After the bead flew out, it released a dazzling radiance and blocked the attack of the 7-colored, glazed pagoda. Holy Lord, as expected, you still have something good hidden up your sleeve. To think that you would have a defensive magic treasure in your possession. You are finally willing to take it out and use it. I had assumed that you would be hiding it for the rest of your life. Long Chinzu was only a bit surprised. Then he controlled the 7-colored glass to attack again and again. I want to see just how many attacks you can take. No matter how strong your magic treasure's defense is, it is still nothing in front of the 7-colored glazed pagoda. Bang, 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 bang. Not only did Long Chenzu control the 7-colored glazed pagoda to attack the sacred master, he also pounced forward with his remaining 17 arms. Young Masterlin, what should we do now? I didn't think that Long Chenzu would obtain a magic treasure. Not to mention, it is a magic treasure left behind by the primogenitor. It was one thing for Long Chenzu to obtain a magic treasure, but he was also able to refine it in such a short period of time. Although he was unable to unleash its true power, the power of the magic treasure alone was enough to defeat the Vajra King and demonic shadow. By the looks of it, the sacred master would not be able to escape this fate. Don't worry, Long Chenzu will be in trouble soon. Didn't you notice that the power of the primogenitor's magic treasure, the 7-colored glazed pagoda, is very average? It is completely unbefitting of the primogenitor's status. Lin Fei chuckled. He appeared very calm. Yi Zishuan pondered it for a moment. That seemed to be the case. The magic treasure was very strong, capable of instantly defeating the Vajra King and demonic shadow. It was even capable of putting a great deal of pressure on the sacred master. However, she kept getting the feeling that the magic treasure was not as world-shaking as the legends made it out to be. The smart Yi Zishuan seemed to understand something. The sacred master relied on the defensive capabilities of the bead to continuously defend against the attacks of the 7-colored glazed pagoda. Long Chenzu did not realize that as he was attacking the sacred master, his emotions were in turmoil. His entire being seemed to have sunk into a state of rage. The 17 arms kept slapping at him. Any one of those attacks could easily kill a Xiantian realm expert or even a Qi cultivating realm expert. However, he was actually unable to break the defensive capabilities of the bead. Sacred Master, I will definitely kill you. This broken bead of yours cannot withstand the attacks of my 7-colored glazed pagoda. I will let you witness the true power of the 7-colored glazed pagoda. After attacking for a while, Long Chenzu realized that he was unable to break the defensive capabilities of the bead. Without saying a word, he spat out another mouthful of blood and pushed the 7-colored glazed pagoda forward. This time, the 7-colored light shone brightly and a phantom image appeared. The moment the phantom image appeared, everyone's breathing became hurried. It was as though a huge mountain had appeared in their hearts, pressing down on them. That's the phantom image of the primogenitor. An expert from the sacred lands cried out and knelt down. It was an ancient figure. The moment the phantom image of the primogenitor appeared, the power of the 7-colored glazed pagoda skyrocketed. The defensive bead of the sacred master was finally unable to withstand it. After countless ripples, the bead was finally blasted apart. The sacred master was also severely injured. All the defenses were broken by the 7-colored glazed pagoda, and the sacred master was slammed against a huge pillar. See that? You are overestimating yourself. I already have the treasure left behind by the primogenitor, the 7-colored glazed pagoda. How are you going to fight me? Long Chenzu laughed out loud, and the 7-colored glazed pagoda in his hand shone even brighter. Right now, your life and death are in my hands. You can either submit to me or be killed by me in one strike. The severely injured sacred master's face was pale. However, at this moment, he laughed out loud and knelt down on the ground. He spread his arms wide open as though he was prostrating himself on the ground. Welcome, primogenitor. The moment the words of the sacred master fell, Long Chenzu's face changed slightly. What do you mean by that? Isn't the primogenitor already dead? Don't tell me he's still alive. Ha ha ha, who said I'm dead? I'm the primogenitor and I'll never die. Your physical body is not bad and you have 18 arms. It's perfect for me to possess. A Jin Guang flashed out of the seven-colored, glazed pagoda and entered Long Qianzu's mind. Hand over your body. Let this old man use your body to ascend the world. His voice was cold and domineering. Long Qianzu's face was ferocious. Dream on. Shukju website. Chapter 40, 318. Long Qianzu's voice was extremely pitiful. His face then turned even more menacing, as though he was fighting with something. Long Qianzu, this old man is giving you face by using your body. With your potential and aptitude, it's impossible for you to break through that barrier. Only by using your body will you be able to go further. Don't you want to see how far you can go? You must know that the later stages of cultivation are what people yearn for the most. If nothing goes wrong, it's impossible for you to do so. Holy Master, you be *starred. You lied to me. This is your scheme. You must know that the Holy Master isn't dead. He's in the seven-colored, glazed pagoda. You're using us to bait you. Long Qianzu roared. His 18 arms waved continuously, wishing that he could tear the Holy Master's body into pieces. But at this moment, these 18 arms were no longer under his control. There weren't many people present who could remain calm. Even the 4 kings from the Kunlun mystic realm had a drastic change in expression. Under this pressure, they could not bring themselves to think of leaving at all. This time, they were truly regretting their decision. The primogenitor wasn't dead. He had left behind a strand of consciousness within the seven-colored, glazed pagoda, waiting for them to take the bait. Now, they finally understood why the seven-colored, glazed pagoda's power was so ordinary. It was clearly placed here to be used as a bait. Yet Long Qianzu was the first to snatch the seven-colored, glazed pagoda. Furthermore, he had the strongest physical body, much stronger than a human's. Furthermore, he had 18 arms. If the primogenitor were to possess this body, his strength would definitely be even more terrifying than before. Who didn't know that the monster race had the strongest physical body? Someone like Long Qianzu was even scarier. This was because he had inherited a trace of the dragon race's bloodline. Compared to him, the human race was far too lacking. I, Long Qianzu, am the strongest. I will never be possessed by you. I'll tear you into pieces. Long Qianzu continued to roar and struggle. However, his struggles were getting weaker and weaker. Young Master Lin, you really guessed it right. There is indeed something wrong with this magic treasure. I didn't expect that there would be a strand of the ancestors hidden inside. Yi Zixuan had already covered her mouth, almost unable to speak. The primogenitor, who had been dead for so long, was actually still alive. This is actually very normal. Otherwise, you would think that a treasure like this would be placed in the most obvious place. Lin Fei had sensed that something was wrong from the beginning. Even if the primogenitor had left behind a magic treasure, it definitely wouldn't be this ordinary. It would not be so easily obtained by others. Lin Fei had also noticed Long Qianzu's change, but he didn't warn him. Sure enough, it was just as he had imagined. The dead primogenitor had actually left behind a strand of divine sense to specialize in possession. Moreover, the target of possession was Long Qianzu. It seemed like he had predicted that a demon king would come in. The dragon, 1,000-feet demon king, was the most outstanding in all aspects, mainly because it was able to unleash its full strength and recover its strength in the shortest time possible. Lin Fei didn't stop them, nor did he want to. He remembered that there were quite a few experts on the same level as the primogenitor. Now that this primogenitor had been revived, it was clear that the other primogenitors had left behind their trump cards. All of a sudden, things became even more interesting. Lin Fei was a lively person. Now that he had the God Tree of Life to recover his strength was recovering day by day. Even if these primogenitors were to cause trouble, Lin Fei had nothing to fear. More importantly, Lin Fei felt that something big was about to happen since Shi had used such a secret technique. Long Qianzu's struggle didn't last for too long. In the end, he silently stopped moving and floated in midair. This didn't take long. In less than a minute, Long Qianzu slowly opened his eyes. When the possessed Long Qianzu opened his eyes, his gaze became extremely ancient, as though he had experienced a long time. At this moment, Long Qianzu was no longer Long Qianzu. He had been replaced by the primogenitor. This body is not bad. It's much better than this old man's previous body. Just 18 arms can increase this old man's strength by more than 18 times. The possessed Long Qianzu shook his head and moved his body. Kacha kacha sounds came from all over his body. Saint Master, you've done well. After so many years, you finally brought him in. The Saint Master stood up and said, respectfully. His originally pale face had regained its rosy color. Master, this is what I should do. Without you, I wouldn't have become the sacred master. It's all thanks to these extraterrestrial visitors. If not for them, it wouldn't have been so easy for Long Qianzu to come in by himself. The Vajra King and demonic shadow, who had just climbed out of the ground, also saw this scene. Without saying a word, they fled to the left and right. It was too scary. It turned out that this was a trap left by the primogenitor. They originally thought that there would be something good in the primogenitor's graveyard. Who would have thought that it was a trap that could take someone's life? Long Qianzu was in high spirits. He had just flaunted his prowess for a short while, and now he had been snatched away. This made them realize that if they didn't leave now, they would be completely finished later. The Vajra King and demonic shadow were also smart. They each chose a direction. No matter how powerful the primogenitor was, it was impossible for him to keep both of them here at once. Long Qianzu glanced at them indifferently. Have I given you permission to leave? 2 rays of holy light directly hit the Vajra King and demonic shadow. With a crashing sound, both of them were instantly frozen. Both of them were qi refinement experts, but they were instantly frozen by Long Qianzu's spell. The sacred master cast spells, but compared to Long Qianzu's spell, the power was on a completely different level. At the very least, the sacred master didn't have the strength to confine the Vajra King and demonic shadow in one go. I don't know who still wants to leave in front of this old man. You can step forward, and this old man will fulfill your wish. A cracking sound was heard. The Vajra King and demonic shadow were severely injured, and they collapsed to the ground. Their bodies were covered with frightening cracks that looked like ravines. If it wasn't for their lingering breath, everyone would think that they were dead. This time no one dared to move. I can smell the aura of the Kunlun mystic realm on you. It seems that the 4 of you came from the Kunlun mystic realm. However, your strength is too weak. Long Qianzu's gaze swept across the 4 kings. With this sweep, the 4 kings knelt on the ground with a plop. They couldn't bear it at all. Your strength is too weak. A ray of holy light landed on them, and the 4 kings groaned and fell to the ground. May I ask, how much of your strength do you still have? Remember the mobile version.